to another Bertopia podcast, number 8. Today I'm joined by a very special guest who drove across the world to be here.
The whole world.
Land, air, sea. He's got his supermobile. Michael Hamilton. Thank you so much for meeting me here today. Probably one of the biggest fans of the podcast. And here you are. 7 podcasts later, you're sitting in the hot seat. How's it feel?
Dude, it feels... I got stage fright. I'm not even gonna lie, dude. Like, I know, like, maybe a select, like, set of individuals might see this, but I got stage fright a little bit.
That's right, man. This is the beginning of your debut, right? Right.
Leo DiCaprio better watch out.
Right. I have to say, though, I'm digging the beard.
Oh, thank
digging
you.
the hair.
Thank you.
Like,
You know, I used to talk a lot of crap about people with man buns. And then I was just jealous because I couldn't grow my hair past 3 inches.
right. I'm just jealous I can't grow my hair.
Yeah, nice Aristotle look, though.
Yeah, like the smart, creepy pedophile next door. I love it. Fucking love it. Dude, seriously, though, like, it looks good when I shave it. But when I don't shave it, I just look like a middle-aged man who's lost all hope.
You do look like that guy from that show where he makes meth.
You mean Breaking Bad?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Which one, though?
Like if he were to actually be real evil, like, you know, has like he's kind of like bipolar about his attitude, but like he acts.
The show.
Huh?
I haven't watched the show.
Oh, he like has these, like, I've only seen bits and pieces, but the parts I've seen that he like acts real tough.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would be a lot more intimidating if he had facial hair.
I agree.
Yeah, but this episode is brought to you by Ridge Wallet. It's our sponsor.
What? No, we don't have any
Oh,
sponsors.
no sponsors, I guess. Never
Yeah,
mind.
no. But, no. No sponsors, nothing like that. Shit, man. So what have you been up to? I know the last time I saw you, you were crying on the barrack steps as I was driving away into the sunset to start my new life back here in Columbus, and you were still stuck in the pits of hell.
Actually, I think I was on a mission when you left.
Yeah, it was bullshit.
Can't
Sorry
remember.
till you didn't get to see me cry.
Yeah, I was mad, dude. Like, I was really upset that I didn't get to see you go.
I mean, you did see me go, though. That going away party
Oh, yeah.
is one for the books. Like, the greatest party ever thrown.
So many
So-
stories
So
happened.
great that I don't think I ever want to party again like that just because we're good. Alright? We did it so successfully that one time that I'm like, I don't need to drink anymore, you know?
Yeah. That's how I felt with, like, this one chick I was with. Like, I figured out, like, after we were, you know, we had our thing together, and we, like, went our separate ways, she went lesbian, and, like, got married to a chick. And I was like, I was either so good that she didn't want to turn back, or I was so bad she lost all faith in mankind, and I just ruined it for everyone else that was trying to drink out of this water well.
I have faith in you.
I would like to think so.
I'm just imagining from her point of view, the baby blues staring into her soul as you're choking the dog shit out of me.
I mean, she was a Marine too. Yeah, she was in Pendleton, and yeah, dude.
So you're punching me in the face while you're choking me.
Oh yeah, and then, like, screaming, like, say the ditties. Do the rifle manual on my dick. Shoulder. Oh, I slaps it over her fucking shoulder.
Just no, stop. This is getting cringy. Oh god. Not where I was wanting to go with that.
We're hitting all the points, man. Like that Seth Rogen did a fucking he did a stand up on Netflix where he did everything that would appear on all the genres. So then he would have the most views because he was raising money for some kind of charity. I can't remember. I think it's like the typical kids with cancer that are part dog.
What?
Part
Kids with
animals.
cancer that are part dog?
Or animals. Or, I don't know, they have a deficiency in something.
Right.
Because everyone beats cancer. I mean, it's a new thing nowadays. Like, everybody beats cancer now. So, like, whenever, like, someone says they beat cancer, I'm like, that's cool. Like, coronavirus is, like, the new thing.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Beat coronavirus and then talk to me. Like, cancer is fucking nothing now.
Apparently, if you watch the news. But yeah, for those of you that don't know, Hamilton has a very dark, twisted sense of humor that I find great. Usually, if he says something, he means the complete opposite.
Or all of it. Who knows?
Who knows?
It's hit or
We're
miss.
accidentally friends just because I've been misinterpreting everything he said.
He's such a sweet guy. Like, he doesn't mean anything. He's just a fun-loving
You're
dude.
over there stomping on a sack of puppies. It's a joke! It's a joke!
Why aren't you guys laughing?
I'm making puppy paste! Get it? PP!
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
Yeah, so you're out on a mission and like our souls intertwined. You felt a disturbance in the force and you're like, he's gone. You know, kind of like when Luke Skywalker dies and everybody knows even though nobody saw him.
Dude, I think, if I remember correctly, I hit you up and I was like, you asked me how Central Africa was and I told you and I was like, yeah, I mean, it sucks. I just can't wait to go back, you know, and game like we used to. And then you're like, I'm not there anymore. And I was like, where'd you go? I was like, are you on mission 2? You're like, no, dude, yes. And I was like, why?
Well, that is a good story. So I asked multiple times for them to try and extend me for a year at IMSAL. So that way I could do a legitimate lat move. Because the program, in my opinion, screwed me over. But, I mean, at the same time, it is kind of my fault for not double-checking every single mentor that was assigned to me by the Marine Corps and make sure that they were telling me the truth. Or that they knew what the hell they were talking about. So, because I had an NJP, because somebody's inability to lead, and then because I was told that I didn't have to re-enlist in order to save my boat space, which is a lie. Yeah, so didn't have my boat space, so I couldn't stay at 2841, and I couldn't lat move in anything because I had an NJP. So I was like,
I remember that.
Cool, but I couldn't extend a year, so that way I could like,
yeah, figure it out or anything.
Figure it out or do anything like that. Everybody told me like, oh yeah, just get to your last year, you'll figure it out. And then my favorite is everybody in IMSA was like, you know, like, what was his name, Gunny, whatever, the gunny that would always like take over for Master Sergeant when he wasn't in office.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And he like sat me down. He's like, I'm really struggling to try and find a reason to keep you. I was like, because I'm like top 5 in my class. Like, I do what I'm told. He's like, yeah, but I mean that's what IMSAL Marines do. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you're average. He's like, but I'm top 5. He's like, yeah, but you're average. Like, I don't see anything that sets you above everybody else.
I'm
like,
above average.
I'm above the average. Like, I'm top 5. I do, like, I don't know. But it was annoying. And he was like, well, why don't you, like, you know, think outside the box. Like, you know, go through this. Like, host classes. Do all of that. And I'm like, then why do we have deck commanders if sergeants are doing everything for you anyway? Why do we have staff NCOs when sergeants run everything? Like, why are you here collecting an easy paycheck when I have to do all the work, train myself, support myself, do all the paperwork for my own missions? I'm doing everything. All you fuckers do is sit around and bitch about how dirty the fucking office is and collect a paycheck while your sergeants do everything.
Dude, that reminds me. Because our deck commander, I mean, he got cool a little bit too late. But
yeah, but he did get cool. So made it all worth it.
I mean, he gave his piece, and that's a story in its own. But I mean, like, whenever I was supposed to go to, where is it? It's a Europe country. It starts with a T. I can't remember. But I was supposed to, that was like, it was me, and then the couple of others that were selected to, I don't want to name drop them, just in case like someone sees this and they want to look them up.
Right.
And they get raped. But, no one's getting raped. But he had me selected to go on that mission, and then they left, or no, I was on leave because we had the 2 leave block afterwards, and then I get a message saying that he took me off and put Chapman on. Ah, dang it! That's gonna be found.
That's alright.
No, but and so like he comes back, but before he comes back, we get told we're going to Panama, and so The,
The infamous Panama.
yeah, everyone else is either on leave, doing something else. No one is there. It's just me. So I'm like, I'm gonna take initiative and start it up. I'm gonna figure out how to do this because I want to achieve the ranks and everything.
I want to make some money.
Yeah. So like I'm asking around. Anyways, I do everything from scratch. I have no idea how it's made, but thank God I came from a background that was masters in PowerPoint. So rather than being smart and going into a shared drive and pulling everything out, I literally made the slides exactly how. I'm using 2 different computers. I'm going around cubicles like, okay, that looks like this. Okay, get this. Okay, I'm gonna email me the emblem. Okay, cool. Even though I could have just went to the shared drive and had a product already made.
Right.
And I made everything, and it looks so good. And then Deck Commander comes back, he's like, "Where's the Panama project? Where's the Panama project?" And I was like, "I already have it done. Everything's done. Everything's like the guard orders, op plans. Everything is set for us to be able to go to this place." Give it to him, and I told him, I was like, "It was all me. Just so you know, me." He goes and presents it to Master Sergeant, the CEO. He comes back and tells me how everything's messed up. And it was like already 4, and he decided to present it like 3:45, like just before we were able to leave.
Right.
And so we had to stay back and we fixed it, and I backed off. I was like, I'm not touching it. I literally did all of this. Obviously, it wasn't appreciated. You guys can fix it. So they fixed it. We go on mission. I'm on post. Everything's going well. He comes up. We start talking. Starts saying stuff like personal stuff and whatnot, and then he brings up the mission and like how it all got started. And I told him, I was like, "Yeah, man, you guys were gone. I took the initiative, try to make myself seem a little bit better than it actually was." And then he's like, "Yeah, if it wasn't for me, that this whole thing would not have happened." I was like, "You just took all the credit for all the work I did." But I mean, it paid off because like when we went on the AOD afterwards, I was pretty much pulling like A/ position and not doing anything, just looking over stuff, except for the actual PowerPoint that showed like the rage finders and whatnot. Yeah, man, I feel you on that.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like they're like expecting me to do things that 1, I wasn't trained to do, 2, that I didn't feel comfortable doing, which I guess means that like I wasn't meant to be better than everyone else. Because I don't feel comfortable being like, "Hey guys, I know that half of you have combat experience, but I'm gonna tell you what combat's like."
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like that's what he was wanting me to do, was like go over like combat, like the basic Marine Corps principles of like combat. I'm not gonna sit here and read off of a book of people who have more experience in the subject than me. That's asinine.
Yeah.
There are other more qualified people, not only in our squad but in the unit, that could do that. And like, honestly, like I just thought it was so stupid that 1, they wanted everybody to basically be a deck commander, right?
Yeah, take care of yourself, self-sustain, be able to do all the jobs.
Be able to do all the jobs, all that good stuff, but they wanted all of us in there doing that all at the same time. And I'm like, dude, there isn't enough room in our cubicle for the entire detachment of 13 motherfuckers to be in there all trying to be a deck commander.
So I noticed that, and then the people...
Computer.
But like when you do that, then you have the people that, okay, we all can do this. Let's just send in 3 that can do it. Those 3 are always in the office doing it, and then, or they're in there for the very first time. They get noticed at the right time by the right person, and those 3 people are on mission the whole time.
Yeah.
And so, like everyone else, I mean, I don't know how it worked. Like, cause that logic does not work for you.
Well, that's because I didn't get noticed by our squad. I got noticed by 3rd squad.
You do have a point.
I went on more missions with 3rd squad than our squad.
I mean, you just went to Haiti and Korea with us.
Yeah.
And every other time you were...
My 4 other missions were with other squads.
Yep.
I don't know how. Because my first mission was to Tbilisi, Georgia.
Yep.
Where Russell was the deck commander
Mm-hmm.
for that mission. And then after that, I went to Haiti. And then that was Haiti with you guys. And then after that, I believe it was South Korea?
Yeah, we went to South Korea in like November.
And then from there, I went to Pristina, Kosovo.
Yep, with Dubai.
Yep, and then I went to...
a Middle Eastern country.
Oh, Lima, Peru, and then Amman, Jordan.
Yeah.
All with a 3rd squad. No, I don't even think the Lima, Peru one was with 3rd squad. That was with, like... I believe that was with fucking... the same guy I went to fucking...
Russell.
No.
Oh,
That's third squad. Who was the deck commander when I went to Pristina, Kosovo?
Dubé.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure I was with either Dubé or no. It was the other guy that was like sister squad to Dubé.
the little short white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I saw him like once, and that's when he like handed us our firearms at the beginning of the mission, and I didn't see him the rest of the time I was there.
Dude,
Like,
my
that's how smooth that mission went.
jeez. I remember whenever me and Dubé got real close. My first introduction, because I didn't get to actually work with him. I just saw him around the office and heard his name a lot. My first,
I did not like him until I went on a mission with him. In the office, I hated him.
that's what I heard.
And
Like,
then I went on a mission with him, and I was like, actually, this dude's actually like kind of got some shit figured out.
yeah, he was telling me about like just keeping it simple and like cooking for y'all and everything.
Yeah.
And so I heard this and I was pretty stoked because like he's my section leader and I was like awesome. And then my first introduction was Haiti was 2.0 was about to happen. They were getting there and they took everyone from my detachment that they decided to make me deck commander of, and I was like, cool, everybody's going. That means I get to go on a mission. But they decided to put Dubé in place because I was not going to be back because I think I took leave and I was not going to be back the day before everything had to be started. But I was like, I already have a visa. I already been there. I'd seen the out plans made for it. I've seen everything done for it. I should be able to go. And Dubé's like, no, it's just the way, man. He's like, I can tell you how I want it to be, or I can tell you how it's going to be. So my first introduction was like, okay, this dude's a mission stealer. Like, I should be the one going.
Right.
And then he comes back from Haiti. Like, the day he gets back from Haiti, he's like, hey, Hamilton, where's that stuff that I sent you? Why isn't it filled out? And I was like, you sent me stuff to get filled out? And then he starts yelling at me from across the office. And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Because during that time, I was spending 16 hours like in the office trying to figure out how to be a deck commander.
Right.
And checking my emails was apparently one of those things I have to do. And that so happened to be in my email that he sent me, he told me to do. And I was like, it was like literally like it's all black of stuff I have not read, and it goes back like a week and a half.
Right.
And I have like 50 plus things I haven't even read. But after that, I mean, he was fantastic. He had my back on a lot of certain things. Especially when he got gunny, I felt like I was being able to, manipulate a little bit more towards the favor of sergeant deck commanders. Because, I mean, like you think that when someone gets promoted that they change, kind of. I know that with a lot of staff, from sergeant to staff, they change a lot.
Yeah.
But it's understandable why. But then some just do like this fucking asinine type change.
Yeah. There's some people who force a change, and then there's a natural change that happens when you get responsibility forced upon you.
Yeah.
And then there's the people who try and anticipate what they need to do, and then they start embodying what other people respond to that responsibility and stress, and they automatically become a dickhead and just want to boss people around. And then when they realize that everybody hates them and people stop listening and only respond when told to do something, and nobody does anything proactive, they then have to go back. Case in point.
Yeah. Like, there's
our deck commander when we first got to MSAL.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you hear people talk about stories about where they were and, like, the times and how notorious those events are, it's kind of like, that should be... I'm going to either be led by someone that has been in it and knows how it's done and knows how to be calm under it, or I'm going to be, like, in the black, no matter what, all the time. Everything is going to be done. It's, like, crucial. Because he was in the air base that got attacked.
Yeah.
And so you would think that him coming, because like him telling the story, how everything went from his perspective, that he would either be always in the black, like, everything's critical.
Yeah.
Compared to
I hear what you're saying.
Someone that's like, I mean, I have a buddy that was in the Fallujah twice, and he's real relaxed. So I mean, it's just like I've only seen one of those two type of people.
Well, actually, yeah. Listening to Joe Rogan's podcast today, one of his ones, and he had a Navy SEAL on there. I'm trying to remember his name real quick. And Joe kept asking him, like, hey, it was, let me pull it up freaking, I don't want to, Trevor Thompson. He's a photographer for Black Rifle Company now.
Okay.
But he kept asking him, he's like, do you think that the training that you got before I figure whatever their final test is, like, made you guys able to stay calm under stress? And he's like, no. He's like, I believe that there are people who are capable of staying calm under stress and people who aren't. And when you go through all those stressful training events before you get to that point, we've already weeded out all the people who aren't mentally strong enough to stay calm in a stressful situation. So the breathing exercises and things like that are just to help maintain or to keep somebody who's capable in that, not in the black, essentially.
Yeah.
And that, like, if you're not capable of doing it, you wouldn't have made it that far into SEALs training. Because he was talking about how, people like Jocko and things like that responded differently to their time.
Yeah.
And the events that they've been through and how they were able to stay calm, collected, because they were talking about bow hunting. He's like, do you have a mantra? He was like, I don't know if I have a mantra per se, but as I'm about to do it, I'm going through the steps in order to keep my mind calm, because I'm getting so excited because it's there, I'm about to get it.
Yeah.
And rather than let the excitement take me and mess it up, I've got to stay calm, so I go through the steps one by one and to stay cool. And that led into breathing exercise and things like that.
Yeah, I kind of wish that.
But I feel like, he's onto something there. Like, there are some people who are capable of staying calm under pressure, and then there are people who just aren't. No matter how much practice, no matter how much training, none of that stuff, you either are or you aren't.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I kind of wish that boot camp they still implemented, like, live fire training.
Yeah.
Because I feel like even the smallest thing like that has an impact on your kind of psyche whenever it comes down to situations. I mean, they stopped it because so many people were getting killed because
they'd go in the black and they'd stand the fuck up.
Yeah. I mean, people aren't going to like that kind of mindset. I mean, that's the type of people you don't want doing those type of things.
I don't agree for it in boot camp, but for SOI, yes. Because in boot camp, you've got infantry guys and you've also got admin guys next to each other going through that shit.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to think about the airfield that got attacked. Not pilots, but people that worked on aircraft were now engaging in an actual gunfight, and they implemented the training that they learned. And I feel like that's because, I mean, it's kind of cliche when it's saying like, oh, every Marine's a rifleman kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, I understand why. Like, that's a perfect example of why this has to happen.
I get, but even though every Marine is a rifleman, everyone except for the QRF and the infantry guys on base who are doing patrols ran into bunkers, and they let them do the rest. You know what I mean? Now, granted, it comes in handy when running to the bunker and keeping the bunker safe, but it's not like in Zach's situation, VBID hits the front of it, you get thrown out of your rack, you grab your rifle, you're up on the berm, you're fighting. That's not what happened at the airbase when they all just ran and got into the bunkers. Maybe a couple of them engaged, but it wasn't like the entire FOB mounted up. Nobody was hiding in bunkers. Everybody's on the wall. Everybody's shooting. Doesn't matter if you're a grunt or not. Where that one, they kind of is a bigger, more set in thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he was a radio operator, so
yeah,
he's out there.
I mean, that's why I agree that everyone should go through the same type of training. I understand how SOI and MCT work, because they say 2 extra months, and they do everything that we do, and then they focus on their MOS.
Right.
Whether it be mortarman, machine gunner, or whatever.
Right.
And so, I mean, like, during the MCT, I mean, I feel like we should definitely go through live fire stuff, because, like, being in...
Well, the grenade was dope.
Oh...
I mean, that's the closest thing to live fire you're going to get in MCT, is when that grenade goes off and you realize, like, holy
yeah, I mean, yeah. Like, this, I mean, because, like, it's 15 meters of, like, the lethal zone of a grenade for you to get actually in... Oh, it's 5 meters for lethal, and it's 15 for, like, serious injury and possible death, and then it goes up to, like, 25. Mm-hmm. And then after that, like, I think the most recorded, like, shrapnel being tossed is, like, somewhere past 100. Right. Like, we were sitting in those stands whenever people were doing the grenade toss. And yeah, they tell you to keep your Kevlar on and keep every part of PPE on. Yeah.
Because it's just falling from the sky. Because those grenades are going off. Yeah, no, I remember that. I definitely remember that. I mean, I also remember us shooting steel at freaking 7 yards away.
Yeah, and Rube got hit in the eye.
Yeah. People catching shrapnel from the freaking the jackets.
And that, even, like, going through BFOC, like, that 7 meters is, like, the distance you're supposed to be away with handguns to steel. And even that, like, you're still catching it. But, I mean, it's also because it's really old targets.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're beat to shit,
Yeah.
and they're not smooth like they're supposed to be. They're all dented.
I mean, they're
because-
probably like back when IMSAL first got established,
yeah.
most likely.
You know, people are also shooting them with green tip.
That too.
So,
An armor-piercing round that's breaking through metal.
yeah, I mean, they're shooting freaking steel targets at green tip, so it doesn't have a predictable projectile pattern. Because the way they're designed is everything's supposed to ricochet off and down.
Yeah.
But when you have freaking little craters on there like the moon, because you've been shooting it with steel cord freaking 5.56, you know, tends to ricochet wherever the fuck it wants at that point. But yeah, I mean, IMSAL is a great concept, and I definitely think it needs to be there, but with a lot of things in life, it's just not managed properly. Like, the amount of things that I see in life that is just managed so shittily. Like, it drives me nuts. Like, how fucking hard is it to, one, just keep people accountable, and to be considerate of those people at the same time?
So, I don't want to go back on the same topic, but I'm after saying like all the negative things I did about Peterson whenever he was our deck commander, and then taking his spot, there was a time I wanted to message him and I was like, I understand, man. I completely understand why you were the way you were, but
I get it.
Huh?
I get it.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like keeping people accountable depends on how those people act, and whether they're like motivated by fear or tantalizing treats in front of them.
Right.
Like you gotta figure out like who's like motivated in which way, and like how to keep everyone together using a method that doesn't just focus on one person. Because I saw that as favoritism. If I had to manipulate the way I treated someone compared to someone else, because they only like learned this way as favoritism, so you have to learn how to almost mold the way that you lead to it's like everybody. It's kind of like almost like church and the Marine Corps. How the chaplain, you go if you're Catholic, Judaist, or Christian, you all go to the same cathedral, get taught by the same person, and it's just you to decipher it. It's not meant to be directed towards your concept of what religion is.
Right.
It's like everyone gets it, take what you want.
Right. I mean, I guess I can kind of understand that. But at the same time, it's the Marine Corps, though, so you would think if there's any way where you could straight up be like, that's why we all go through boot camp, so we can all be taught the same way and be, controlled the same ways through boot camp. And the problem is with some of those situations, like you gotta put your foot down and remind people.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what happened. It's just it was too many NCOs running around doing whatever they wanted, and then the rest of them just all got treated for shit for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of group punishment at all.
I'm not a fan of group punishment unless the group can do something about it. If the group can do something about it, then yeah, group punishment all day. That works really well in, say, like boot camp or like tight knit groups, especially like with the Navy SEALs where they're all like buds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that way they all like keep each other accountable. They all take care of each other. And then if you punish the group, not saying that the group will do something, but that person will feel guilty for what they've done to the group and therefore correct themselves. That works really well if the group is tight, because that person feels guilty for what they've done to everybody around them. Not necessarily because the group needs to fix them. So I'm going back on what I just said.
I was about to say, I was like,
So I only think that group punishment works if everybody in the group gives a fuck about the group.
I agree.
Because it's the guilt of hurting the group that forces them to fix themselves. But when you're at IMSAL and literally I've known nobody there for longer than a year, and you're like making this guy's getting me in trouble, fuck that guy, fuck this group, fuck IMSAL. And that's what everybody's mentality was. And the problem is they didn't care. It was always, and that was the other thing too, is everybody would be like, you guys suck. And like that's what all we got through training is just like, you guys suck. You guys complain about everything. You guys suck. And it's like, it's literally the same, like 3 people complaining. It's not all of us. It's like 3 of us. The rest of us show up to class, we smile, we laugh when they tell their shitty jokes, and then we go play video games in our room. You know what I mean? Like, it's all I'm here to do. Get top 5, get the fuck out.
Dude, I mean, and you did. Like, because when you said top 5, I was like, was there an actual rank system? And I was like, well, I mean, there was. Like, as soon as room entry happened, it was just you, me, Benny, Miles, Gillette, Chap. No,
Yeah.
was
Chapman was first attempt.
okay, and then Peterson.
Yeah.
And if you go off like the testing, like I'm pretty sure like you scored the best out of like everybody else. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what, top? There was a ranking system.
Well, I mean, if you and also first attempt on everything.
Yeah.
DT, room clearing.
Are you serious?
Range. I was first attempt on everything, dude.
Even the second, like after, like the at the end, like because I know they did the first, like initial. You,
I first attempt everything, dude.
dude, the thing that got me was definitely DT. Because I mean, I was at a post, we didn't do that. We only did it during CVs.
Me either, but I have a really good memory, and Cartwright was close friends with me. And Cartwright had been sitting there for a year doing nothing but DT, trying to pass that first six.
Dude, that's what me and Don were talking about. Like how you have like this almost a photographic memory, and you can just just look back at like whatever you're doing and just do it, and it'd be like almost perfect.
I'm really good at muscle memory too.
Like how do you not? I would expect like a bunch of Legos, to be honest. Like someone that just like that's what it looks like. Bet. That would blow my mind.
I mean, I built him with minimum instructions.
Well, I mean, yeah. I'm talking about like something like they rebuilt like the Titanic.
Oh, you mean like that?
Like the side, like what
That's
was
more
it?
like creative stuff, but I like to do that. I would like to get into that. I really want to get into carpentry here soon. Carpentry and blacksmithing.
Dude, I think blacksmithing would be pretty cool as a hobby, though.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do it for like money. I'm gonna do it for fun.
Yeah.
But I want to get into carpentry too, because I've been watching a lot of these like epoxy shit, and I want to do like.
I saw some of the stuff you've been watching. That it got me to watch them.
Oh, what you've been snooping on my YouTubes? I leave the house, you're over here like, what's Bourbon watching?
No, dude, like whenever we would like game together,
oh yeah,
and you would have the video going on to the side, and then like
I'm always watching something.
Yeah, dude, or like we're listening to something. I mean, I think it was one time like we both got really mad. It was either Battlefield 1, I think it was, and we just like stopped playing. We started watching that, and we sat there for about maybe 2 solid hours watching this dude. And you're like, dude, no, you gotta see how it turns out. And it's like not for another 2 episodes, and they're like 30-minute long episodes. And I was like, dude, I don't care. I'm invested right now.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, I love watching like blacksmithing stuff on YouTube. I love Damascus. I'm really into that. But I've also been really getting into a lot of carpentry lately because I know Jeff wants to build a floating bed. Basically, it's a full-size bed, but there's a really small platform in the back, so it looks like the bed's floating from the outside, and then we do LED strips around it, so that way it gets like an underglow effect from the bed.
It's a sex dungeon idea.
Right? That's what he was saying. And my idea was like, dude, fuck that. Let's build a frame that stretches from wall to wall in your room, and then just mount it to the studs in the wall, and then you actually will have a floating bed, and then we get a custom mattress made to the size of that framing. And then you can just use the underside of storage and get the long little storage bench from like Myra or Walmart, whatever.
Dude, as soon as you said like wall to wall and then like you talk about studs and whatnot, I just imagine like a sex swing. I could not envision like you talking about the building. I just immediately like saw chains and like a tire.
Why a tire?
I don't know, dude. Like that. Every time someone says like a sex swing, I imagine
like
a tire. Just
just from like the playgrounds as a kid.
Yeah, dude.
So the tire hanging.
Yeah, it's like hanging by 4 chains, and I'm like, I mean, I can see what you guys are trying to get at, but I mean, it doesn't look like it'd be more fun. Like, hey, you push me, and then after a couple minutes, I'll push you.
Yeah, I know. I really don't understand like how a sex swing really helps. I guess it's more or less for people who want to like get her arms up and want to like hold her up but just aren't strong enough, so they put her in a swing instead and they like pull her up on the pulley right about there, and then that way they just kind of move her back and forth. They don't have to actually hold up her weight to
Which brings us in our next segment about obesity, and that's why only small girls can be done like that.
Truth.
That's why no one's doing it, and everyone needs to get these swings. Because
yeah, and that's why sex swings market's gone up, because obesity's gone up.
It's kind of like coronavirus, man. Like obesity is like a virus, and everybody's now obese, and you can't do those fancy things you see on the internet,
or on the internet, yeah,
or on the movies. Like people getting banged against walls. Like if I picked up 73% of these people now, I'd be bulldozing the wall and trying to like renovate.
You'd be the mountain.
Yeah, man.
You'd be the mountain junior.
Like I would be trying to see if I could roll her down the hallway or down the stairs, and have like something set up, like bottles of water.
Just bowl her down there. We got something to drink. You need anything on it?
No, I'm good.
So why don't you tell How's Bjorn?
He's good, man.
Let the people know who Bjorn is.
Bjorn Ironside is my he's my puppers. I've had him since November. I actually got him the day after my birthday.
Aw.
Yeah, and he came at 4 months old, and he just that day that I got him and I adopted him, because he was dropped off with 2 Mastiff puppies, but he got picked up by an adoption center somewhere in Oklahoma. It's like 2 hours away from where I live. Anyways, they picked him up, took him to the shelter. They gave him the shots. They gave them the treatment they needed and all that other stuff. And they told me as soon as he got his nuts snipped, he'd be ready to go. And I was like, all right. Yeah, I was mad about it. I was like, I want my mans to, have that testosterone, because one thing I do not like is what I'm really worried about hearing back, because I haven't boarded at a place that she teaches dogs. She also boards dogs, but she has like 10 or 15 Dalmatians. And when I was there dropping him off, he was certain his dominance, and I'm all for that. Like, you get it. But, I just don't want him getting dominated.
Right.
And so I'm worried that him liking that testosterone is just, going to take it. Like, I don't want my dog taking it in the butt.
Well, my whole thing is people, like, you have an argument for, like, hormone therapy on children for humans, but you're essentially doing that to your dog when you cut his nuts off when he's still a baby. Like, he needs that testosterone and all those chemicals.
It kills their growth, too.
Yeah, it stunts their growth almost instantly.
But, the thing that they say to do is it will keep him from roaming. They don't, he'll stay within his area, especially if he's, like, a herding dog, and they're meant to go out and find, whatever livestock or whatever they're herding, it'll keep him from wanting to go out and stay within his boundaries that are set for him as a puppy or whenever he's new to a household. That's what's behind it to why you want to do this. It's kind of like
it seems like what it comes down to is people are just too lazy to fucking take care of their dog and don't want to just keep him in his boundaries.
I'm not for it. I don't like chopping another dog's nuts off.
Instead of using a physical leash.
Because I don't. Yeah, or overpopulation. Like, if my man wants to go get it, let him go get it. Like, I'm all for it. He is my side king. I want him to go prosper. But
also, if you just take care of your damn dog,
he's not going to go out there and do that stuff. He's going to do it to your pillow.
Keep him in the yard.
Yeah.
Keep him in the house. Don't let him run away because you're.
And when you wake up to him humping your foot, just be thankful that he's not paying child support to some puppies.
Giving half his kibbles away.
Seriously, man, and he loves his kibbles. He went up in food, and he's still declared a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he's full grown now, but he's taking adult-sized food because he eats so much, but he burns it all off because he's so energetic. But there's also 2 dogs that my mom has. That is Jojo, who's 9 or 10, and then London, who's 10 or 11, or maybe vice versa on their ages. And then Coconut, who's a miniature Australian Shepherd, and she's 5 years old.
A miniature Australian Shepherd?
Yep.
Well, how big is she?
She's about this long and about maybe this big.
Okay, so about the same size as Kaya.
Yeah.
She's like my parents' dog. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit smaller.
A little bit smaller, but yeah. Because Kaya is an Australian Shepherd, but I don't know if she's a full or a mini or any of that.
Yeah. But they've all been domesticated to the lifestyle of my mom and stepdad of, just lay around, watch some Netflix or Hulu.
Right. And
then call it a day. And so he's been introduced, but he's got that puppy fever. He's wanting to get up and everything. And he, if you're giving attention to anyone else, he's not having it.
No.
I'm
you or anybody?
Anyone.
Okay.
But if I'm in the room, it's more towards me.
Right.
He doesn't care about anybody else. But if it's anyone else in the room and he sees someone getting more love than he is, he's gonna go pillage that stuff and take it for himself. Which I'm all for, because live your best life, do you. Look out for number 1.
Fair enough. Let's see. So, yeah, keep going. So you were deck commander for a while.
Yeah.
And then you were just adios, motherfuckers. I'm gonna go hang out with Bert.
So I contemplated it, and what are you trying to get at?
Is that it? Is that your end of your time in the Marine Corps? Is you were a deck commander? You went on a couple of missions?
Yeah.
And you were just
I actually got on mission probation because we went to New Guinea. And it was the first time I actually met Vice President Pence, because I was supposed to be in Panama, but then stuff in Charlottesville happened, the race riots and all that stuff. Or they weren't declared. I think maybe CNN declared them as race riots. there's a lot of stuff going on, but he needed to go back. And that was also when a Secret Service dude got fucking hemmed up because he had a hooker.
Mm-hmm.
But so with that, we actually met him there. But while we were there, I was like, this is a mostly indigenous population. A lot of dark-skinned individuals were kind of like the only white people there, except for some of the people. There's some Australians that were there, but they were either like humanitarian aid, because this place is like when they told me about it and I looked it up. As always, Google Images lies.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that it's like a nice island, you know. I was like, I'm gonna go to the beach every day. I was like, this is gonna be a nice little trip. We get there and it looks like it's a piece of Africa that's just been, you know, taken away and put in the middle of the water. I mean, it like no one. Like, there's still cannibalism in New Guinea, and that encompasses like 70% of the island. It's all wild, wild west. Like, you go out there, you're on your own. Like, you better survive. If you don't, it's up to you. And then there's this one part. What was the capital? I can't remember. But it might even be New Guinea. But we were there, and I guess that was the most advanced of the population or whatever. But while we were there, I told everyone, I was like, look, I don't want us to look the part. I'm going to be the first person to actually take initiative on this whole fact of, you know, arriving to places and not looking like we're part of the Department of State. No one's going to shave. I was like, I'm making that decision right now. Because everyone was joking about it. I was like, yeah, sure. And they weren't taking me serious. And then I showed up with like 2 days stubble, and they're like, what? What are you doing? And I was like, dude, we're on a VIP. We're trying to stay, you know, on the DL. Don't shave. We went a week and a half. There was an Army first sergeant that was like in charge of a bunch of other Marines that were there with us, because they had we were in charge of everyone coming into the secured area, but there was a skiff, I guess, with a bunch of secret shit, and those Marines were in charge of making sure that only people that were a part of this, there's a smaller group that were only allowed in there.
Right.
But they didn't show up, or they didn't stand their post until like our second to last day there.
Wow.
So while we're there, this first sergeant comes over to us. It's been a week and a half, and they showed up like at the end of our first week. And he comes over and tells my A/, he's like, hey, some people are complaining that you guys have beards. He's like, I don't know what's up. And then he came back to the room because we had to share rooms because they were they were overbooked. And he comes over, he's like, hey man, I just want to tell you that we have to shave. Like, I just got told by the first sergeant. And I was like, why? I was like, why is he caring? Like, what is he? I was like, whatever. I was like, I'm not, because he's like, yeah, they're going to call your command. I was like, nobody else has the number to the command but you do. You're the only person that has any kind of contact with our command. No one else does, so no one would be threatening that. So I was like, whatever. I'm not going to call his bluff. I'm going to do what's right, like I should have. And everyone shaved. Anyways, like, the next person that went to post was clean shaven. It was perfectly fine. Word got back, don't know how, but it was from the dude, like, because Secret Service people were coming up to us and had no idea we were Marines. The Marine birthday happened while we were there, and there's 2 Marines a part of Secret Service, and we're like, we didn't know you were Marines. And I was like, holy crap, it fucking worked. Right. Like, obviously we were doing what we're supposed to do, staying under the, you know, the radar, doing what we're supposed to do, and no one knows who we are.
Right.
And then as soon as we shaved and we started telling everybody, they're like, oh my gosh. Anyways, so command finds out, and then also the people that we put our gear through found out. So I told the guys that were with me, I was like, you guys drop off, or we'll pick up the stuff that we dropped off at Waka, yeah, and you come back and whatnot, because I got to do some paperwork here. And anyways, they go there. There's a gunny there that we went through. Technically, he wasn't there when we put our stuff through, but he was there then, and gave them a chewing. And then he came back, and apparently he got word from the first sergeant, Army Cat, and then he took that word and gave it to our command. And then we got back, and then Harless pulled us to the side and gave us a talking to, and we're like, we didn't know this was going to make it all the way over here. This is international news to me.
Right.
So they put me on. They said they didn't, but they definitely did put me on mission probation, because I'm pretty sure the CO found out, and he just was too mad to talk to me about it, because he knew the type of person I was that was really blunt. And I took my position over than what my rank was, and I was just like slinging it wherever it could be slang.
Mm-hmm.
And no one liked that. Only like-minded and realist individuals that you're like, yeah. I mean, despite the fact he is a sergeant telling all of us like what's good and what's up, he has a point. And then there's the people that didn't like it that were, oh, I'm a staff sergeant, and I'm a deck commander, and I'm a sergeant tell me what to do. I ain't having any part of that.
Right. Or people that just stick to the Marine Corps way. Like, I don't care if it's obvious. We're Marines.
Yeah.
You need to shave. And it's like...
I mean, I get it. There's written rules, and I went against the written rule because I just took it upon myself to go outside the boundaries of what was set for me, which makes me wrong. I'm not saying I was right. I'm saying that what I did worked. And I told, like, Dubé kind of liked it and didn't like it, the fact that I was really unorthodox. Because everyone else is going with this rhetoric, with this dogma of what is supposed to be done as a MSAL detachment commander. And I'm the person that's like, this is useful, this isn't. Throw that to the side, I'm going to utilize this. And the best part is, I'm going to utilize this in the way I know how to, so I can attach it to everybody that can listen.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than, picking a select few that it works for and decide to go with that, because I've seen that done too. Let me focus on the star students and, make sure they achieve, because obviously these ones that are not good just don't care.
Or, yeah. Because that's their mentality is like, oh, you're not, at my desk every day begging me to do shit. You obviously don't care. And it's like, no, it's just, I did at one point. You just told me to go the fuck away, and so I stopped coming back.
For instance, you and I. You and I both cared, like, about the job that we were instated in.
Mm-hmm.
I was the person that was at the desk always, like, wondering what's going on. You're the person that, when a task was given to you, you did it.
Yeah.
I mean, and it wasn't because, you weren't the one volunteering for it. It doesn't mean you didn't know how to do it, because obviously when you were handed it, and everyone else got handed it, some people were like, oh, I don't know what to do with this, because, the other 3 people that were star students been taking care of it.
And they're on a mission,
Yeah.
So what the fuck do we do?
But you and Chapman was pretty good at it, and then I can't remember who else was in our squad that was actually pretty good at it. But I mean, like, you weren't, like, because it was me. Well, Miles was kind of forced into it because he was A/, but me and Benny were always in the office, always trying to, like, figure it out, and we went on the less missions.
Right.
Like,
and I feel like that's where, like, it kind of shot you guys in the foot almost, is because you're always there in the office. They
think
kind
so.
of, like, wanted to keep you there in the office.
That's
there.
Because we started talking about that whenever, because that's how me and Jenkins got real close, because we were talking about that same stuff, because we were going to be put in the same situation. He was going to be put in A/, and I was going back as a deck commander. And we were kind of talking about that stuff. Like, me and him were similar. Like, we were there and, like, volunteering for things, but it, like, ended up, like, shooting us both in the foot, because now he's now A/, and they focus more on the new guys coming into the squad. Mm-hmm. So all of them are getting sent out, and he's being the one, like, staying back, because, Golden Childs have to, stay at the house.
Right.
We don't want the Protestant son going back out again.
Right. God forbid the guy knows what he's doing, go out there and do it.
Yeah, because then you have, because I mean, with that mentality, you have people back here that don't know it, and then it comes down to them complaining to the detachment commanders, A/, whoever's, like, holding charge then to, why aren't they being educated? Why aren't they doing this?
Right. No, it's dumb.
But enough Marine Corps stuff, man. Let's get personal. Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
You got something in mind?
I don't know, dude. Like, I'm an open book. I'll talk about anything.
Oh, I thought you had questions for me.
Oh, I don't know, dude. Like, I mean, we've been friends for, like, considerably a short time. 2-3 years now. Because it was, when was it? It was May when we went to MSAL.
Yeah. May of 2017?
Yeah. So we're coming up on a 3-year anniversary. I'm glad I came back. Just in time.
I'm glad too.
But I also need a wedding date so I can be there for that.
Well, I think the engagement happened so that way she knows that I am serious. I'm not going anywhere. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to marry you. I'm not going to rush into it.
Smart.
But I am going
to. You're just locking it down.
Yeah, exactly. I'm locking it down and saying, hey, we're going to do this. Now, I want to do this at a point in life where it makes sense, though.
Smart.
Because
there's nothing wrong with being engaged for a long period of time. I like the commitment that it shows, though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, but some people take it the wrong way. Some people, like,
Oh,
Like,
he just engaged me, so he doesn't have to marry me right now. Like, is this just him like biding time? Like, no. It's me
Yeah.
saying, hey, right now doesn't make a whole lot of sense for us to just get married just to get married. Like, I love you, I want to be with you, but let's get our life figured out
yeah.
and then blow a bunch of money on a wedding.
Or just do a courthouse wedding.
Yeah, see, but then we're still rushing into it, in my opinion.
True. I mean, but if you're gonna hold the title anyways, and so like I think my uncle is the one that did it. I think he got a certificate before he actually did a ceremony,
Mm-hmm.
just to hold the title. That's it. Because some places wouldn't like. I guess you get benefits to being a couple living in certain apartment complexes or houses renting out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, depending where you live or who the landlord is, but I think, yeah, that's identified more than like if you go in as engaged, it's two people now living in this house, and some people are like, okay, that's increasing the rent like 50% or whatever, or charging those two people individual rent.
It depends. I mean, I haven't noticed anything like that, like realistically. The only time it comes in handy is if you have someone not in her and that situation. So if you have two normal people and they're trying to apply for the house, okay? You have two normal people and they're trying to apply for the house. If they're married, you will add both of their incomes together, both of their debts together. Their debt to income dictates what your max is, and you guys can add your credit scores together or use the best of the two. That's when it becomes kind of beneficial. But seeing as I have all of my military benefits that are going to be better than any marriage benefit will give us,
Yeah.
it's pointless.
Well, it's only good for her if you all are married, right? Because you can give your benefits to her, but I think it gets like half. Is it halved or is it full? Like with benefits is in GI Bill. Like you can send her through school with your GI Bill.
There's a caveat to that. In order to send her through school, my GI Bill, I have to have a certain amount of time remaining on contract.
That's what makes gotcha.
Yeah. So if I wanted to transfer my GI Bill to her, I think I still had to serve for another either 3 or 6 years after I applied for the transfer, and then once I finished my time in service, then it would get transferred to her.
That makes sense after 6 years of hearing all these things about 50% at your 10-year mark, and then what is it 75 at your 20, and then 100 at your 25. I never made sense until just now.
So,
Talk about like giving your benefits away.
Yeah, so you have to actually serve more time, and then what else? And then otherwise the only time she would get any benefits whatsoever, which I don't know, it wouldn't even apply to her. If I got that 80% disability, or what is it, 50, 40? I can't remember what the magic number is where you get TRICARE for everything. There's a certain percentage where you get TRICARE for everything, but I know that if we're married, you do get a increase based off of your dependents for your disability income as well. But that's negligible at this point.
So you don't think you're actually gonna get married for like another couple of years?
Probably not for another year or two, because we really want to get a house first. And right now we're focusing on cutting down debts, so we're going to move in with Jeremy and her and I. She's going to work on getting a better job and work on getting disability done so that I can go to school. Hopefully make a little bit more money.
Yeah.
Then if I can get $60K, for my job, plus another 15 from disability, got some money to live off of now.
I mean, if you're like in Jeremy's situation where you're just doing a job for fun and this is holding you off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Jeremy's doing great. Much more power to him.
I mean, it all depends on the lifestyle you want to live, because who knows? Like, I think with the lifestyle you want to live, I'm not like trying to paint you a certain way.
Fine.
But I mean, I think you definitely live off like 40, live off of. But for you to like enjoy the way you want to do, I say 60 is a solid number. So like 15 extra monies, bro. 15 stacks.
Yeah. Well, I make 40 now.
Yeah.
And we get by.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's just you though. That's not including like but
well, it's even with hers. My 40 plus her. I don't know how much it is. I think it's like 19.
no.
So.
Because she's not, or she's new to Home Depot, right?
No, she's been there for as long as we've lived here. So a year and a half, almost 2. No, yeah, a year and a half.
How much is she making hourly?
She makes like 12 something a year.
For a year and a half already? That should be way more.
No.
Or like promotion wise.
That's the thing. She's been trying to get promoted into anything. She's been trying to, but they got her stuck at that service desk because that's the same thing we're talking about with install.
She's so good at it.
So good at it. They don't want her to go anywhere
That's
else.
so stupid, dude. That's
so
so
people,
crippling.
Like, cripple her ability to transfer to other things. So
Yeah.
now she's looking at doing like design, so like kitchen design, bathroom design, that kind of stuff.
That'd be pretty cool.
Now Home Depot has a course that she wants to transfer to it to be I can't remember if it's kitchen or bathroom, but a designer for Home Depot, where people come in, they're like, oh, I want to redesign my bathroom, and they talk to the person there. She helps them pick out what they want, designs it, and then sets them up with the contractors to do it, hands the designs over to the contractors, and then they take it from there. And they make, I think she said anywhere from like 15 to 17, which is about what I'm making now, roughly. But I get paid salary now.
Yeah.
But if you break it down, that's roughly what I'm making.
Yeah, I feel like salary could definitely come up and bite you, because like I know
My job, yeah.
I know people that take salary, like my ex-fiance, like she's on salary, but she works like, I don't know, like 60 hours a week, and it's ridiculous. I was like, you should have kept hourly. Like, to think about it, like if you're only getting one day off and you're working all these like different things and whatnot, like you're holding this ability, but you're also able to do this, so you're definitely being pushed around. I mean, she was like, from what she told me, I was like, you should have kept hour. You would definitely be making way more in salary.
If you're putting 60 hours in a week, go hourly. If you're only putting in 40 hours a week, try and get salary.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, technically, I'm only supposed to be working 45 hours a week. Technically, but also, the owner of the company has gone back and forth multiple times about what's expected, what's not, what I get, what I don't get. Because nothing's written down, nothing's in stone, there's no references, there's nothing that I've signed to agree to anything. It's just his word. That's it. And half the time he can't remember how he said things or what he said. So I'm like, you did say, and he's like, no, I never said that. I'm like, oh, okay. You never said that. I'm gonna go sit and spin. Because the way it works at the company is when you start out, you get paid a certain amount. So he and I agreed. I was like, hey, what are you going to pay me? And he was like, 40. I was like, all right, cool. He's like, but when you're in a van by yourself, or until you're in a van by yourself, I'm only going to pay you 32. I'm like, that's fair, because I'm just in training. I'm not making you any money yet.
Yeah.
I'm just taking up a spot in your van and forcing Eric to work later. And probably fucking things up along the way, costing material and things like that. Well, then I finally get to a van by myself, and then he's, can only do 38. Really, dude? I just sat here for 2 months, busted my ass to learn this stuff, so I can get in a van by myself, just for you to shortchange me $2,000. And then he gave me that $2,000 back as my Christmas bonus, and I was like, cool. So
that's some.
Glad to see that.
That's rude.
I agreed to my Christmas bonus. And then they bumped me up to team lead after Jeremy, Bryce, and Bubby all moved in. They're like, well, you know all of them, so...
You're in charge of them.
Not even in charge.
Oh.
Your job is to make sure that they all don't quit at the same time.
Oh. Just cat herd them.
Basically, just keep them happy and, keep your ear to the ground and make sure that they're all okay. They're not all going to quit. How about that? So then he was like, all right, well, I think he then bumped me up to 40 at one point, then he bumped me up. No, I think he just went straight from 38 to 41 at that point. And that was after a year of being there. He bumped me up to 1,000 above what I agreed to on day one. I'm like, cool, so I got $1,000 raise. And then I got a $4,000 Christmas bonus, so I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. But I'd almost rather have that throughout the year. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
Dude, I calculated up like how much I was making, and I don't know, like I was, at first glance, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making this, and I was like, I don't gotta pay taxes, because Marine Corps took care of all this stuff whenever I was getting paid, and I was like, oh, this is nice, but then I took a second glance, and I was like, wait, how much was I making in the Marine Corps?
Yeah.
6 years experience in the Marine Corps, I was making, about $32,000 a year.
Tax free.
But I mean, yeah, but it's also, man, it's a decent pay. Like, it was all straight money to me. I was doing whatever I wanted with it.
You didn't have any bills.
Yeah, and then now I'm making, I was making 34 if I added it right, and I was like, that's what's up. And then I was like, hold on, phone bill, car, rent, dog, cat,
Health
Start
insurance.
Don't have that either.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know. My pets, bro, have pet insurance. I can take them in if anything happens to them, they'll be taken care of, and I pay into that. I don't even have that. I'm pretty sure in their will they're betrothing like everything to me. I feel like it's what it is. But I mean, like I make a paycheck and that's covering all of that. So I got like another $1,000. But you know, I'm not gonna go spend it on hookers and blow. I'm also gonna be like financially smart and waste it on video games and stuff like that and eating out. So now I'm just living paycheck to paycheck.
Same here. Like, that's why, like, well, first of all, rent here is $172 a month. And I'm like, that's ridiculous, dude. This is a 2-bedroom. It's meant for 2 people. There's 3 people living here. And we all, well, DJ might be putting a little money aside, but we all live paycheck to paycheck. I know her and I definitely do. That's why Jeremy's going to be a huge help, because that goes from me spending $600 a month
To half it.
to half of that.
Now you got that other half to just either put into savings or go towards something else.
I'm going to pay off this fucking credit card.
Yeah.
Pay off that car.
Dude, I actually just recently got to where my credit card was holding a little bit too much than it should have.
Mm-hmm.
Got kind of scared. Like, it was only sitting like about maybe $2,000 or so. But then, like, it made me definitely sit back and I was like, maybe I shouldn't have made that purchase. I was like, because I've always been able to pay off my credit card, but now to the point where I'm having to wait for like 2 or 3 paychecks to come in because tax season did not do me well.
Tax season did me well.
Dude, I'm owed the monies.
Oh wow, yeah. Jeremy owed him a lot of monies.
Oh, how much is a lot for y'all? Well, for him.
I think Jeremy ended up owing the IRS $1,600.
That's about what I owe. Because there was no taxes being taken on my paychecks.
Yeah, that's what happened to Jeremy. He, I guess, messed something up when he hired up and put the wrong number on the form, and so they weren't taking any taxes out of his paycheck, and he didn't realize until like 2 months before the end of the year. He's like, well, fuck. Oh, that's my credit card right now.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Golly, dude.
But that's because of the program.
Okay.
I'd get out there and I'd be like, oh, I want to go somewhere. Actually, it's really because of she who shall not be named in the program. Because she would always like lose her shit, cancel that trip. I went out buy a plane ticket, and then the last week she'd be like,
dude, I forgot that was even like a thing. Like I thought about it today, but I don't know, it's kind of like left out of my memory.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that was like I actually thought about it today. About
Pretty sure more than half of that is because of that.
Most likely. I mean, it's usually the cause of whamming.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I also have really bad spending habits. I'm a huge impulse buyer.
I've noticed, especially when it comes to skins for like season passes.
What? No.
Yeah, in a game that you, bro, I thought it was hilarious. Like whenever you told me you're gonna buy the season pass for Apex, I think it was season 2,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I don't think this guy's gonna be playing this game that long, bro. I was like,
I finished season 2 to see Battle Pass.
I mean, yeah, you did.
I didn't finish season 3 and disappointed myself. I got to 87. But granted, when I logged in the last day, I was at 52, and I got all the way up to 87 in one day.
That's crazy. You're also really good though.
The next day, I logged back in, and the new season hadn't started, but you couldn't rank up anymore. I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was like, the new season hasn't fucking started. It starts tomorrow. Why did you? Like, why is anybody even playing today if I can't level up my battle pass the last day of the season?
I think the biggest purchase I've done, I think it was with Dauntless, a free-to-play game. And I decided to spend
I fucking get you, man.
Yeah, $40 for like, a bunch of stuff to get up because I was like, I'm definitely gonna be playing it. I mean, I still play it.
Oh, dude, don't even,
I do. I still play it, man.
You know what game I've spent the most money on? Well,
World
the
of
two
Warcraft,
games that I've spent the most money on. Actually, no.
Really?
I think. Well, no. There's a first place and there's a second place. And first place is not good. Warframe. Both of them free to play games.
Oh, yep, I could definitely.
Warframe, I probably spent about $2,000 on.
Golly.
Dead serious.
That's. I mean, how long has it been out though? It's been out for a minute.
I think I've been playing it for like 5 or 6 years.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, like if it's like, is there season passes? Like I've only played it for that long.
No.
Oh, it's just skins, or is it actual like currency to buy stuff from other people?
Both. So what I do is they come out with a Prime, which is like the new version, so it's like slightly better than the default, just slightly. Still obtainable in game, but what's not obtainable is the cosmetic pack that comes with it. So I buy those every time they come out. They're $60, but they also come with platinum, which is the in-game currency that you can use to buy things from other players and also buy things from the store. So I buy that, and I use the currency to buy the blueprints that I need, and then I farm for the materials to build all the new Prime stuff. And then I have everything, and then I log in whenever a new Prime comes out. I do that process every time. It's stupid. I don't know why I do it, but I do it. And I've got a pretty dope collection.
Yeah, I definitely have not. I mean, I feel like
Black Desert Online is
I mean,
second, which I'll probably spend about $1,000 on, and that's strictly just skins
that's wild, dude.
or costumes.
I think the most I've ever done was a Korean MMORPG, Mabinogi, and like I was introduced to it back when I was in I think my freshman year of high school, and I had my uncle, my aunt, and my dad were all playing it way before then. They introduced me to it, and I was like, "This is dope!" Like I was like playing it, and and you had to buy like cards that you could only get at like GameStop. You couldn't actually buy it through the game itself. And so you get the cards and you do the numbers and everything. I mean, I'm pretty sure I spent, not just me, but stuff like gifts on me and myself. I think I spent the most on that, but nowhere near 1,000, dude. Nowhere near.
But that was also when I was out in the programming, and I spent most of the money on that because it was like, oh, I got paid. I paid my mess bill. I still have $1,000 left over this paycheck. I don't have a phone bill. I don't have shit to pay for it when you're out on the program. So I was like,
yeah, I felt
building computers.
I feel like the program was really good and also really bad for me.
It was. I feel like that about the whole Marine Corps, honestly.
Well, yeah, I do too. But I don't know.
I'm conflicted.
Depends on the day.
Really. It really does. Like if I'm ever like. I hate it when I show up to a customer's house and I'm installing a 4,000 fireplace and they're 25. And I'm like,
you could have been doing this.
What the fuck did I do with my life?
That's what I thought about, man. Like, because me and DJ were talking about, like, how I wanted to do bounty hunter stuff. And, like, I was sitting there and I was like, man, I can't wait to make, like, all this extra money. And I was like, but I mean, like, I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, you see these kids like, oh, just bought our first house. And I was like, what have you been doing? Like,
right.
What were you? I understand I was not the best kid in high school. I mean, I was definitely not most likely to succeed. Most likely not. Not like that was a choice. Right. I was definitely not the first.
Right.
And, everyone I see, I have a majority of people I went through high school with on Facebook, and they're all either, some are married, locked up, some are married with a bunch of kids, or, they're...
Some got their shit together. They got a house, husband, couple kids.
Yeah, some of them are doing good. But I was like, that's where, I think marriage is like just a dual income. That's the best benefit possible.
I mean, her and I still dual income.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like my perspective over marriage. I think that it's like the best thing to come from it is dual income, but with that comes dual debt.
Exactly.
Like my uncle was telling me how he had to pay off his aunt or his wife's debt, my aunt.
Yeah.
Because that's what you get whenever you take on another person. If you love them. And you say you're willing to take every battle for them.
Yeah. No, it was the same way. Like, when I say that Brittany and I are going to work on our debt, like, if mine's done and her isn't,
yeah,
it's going to go to hers.
Of course, yeah. I'm not saying it shouldn't.
Yeah, and, like, vice versa. Like, if she gets hers taken care of before mine, then we'll work on mine together. Or we might just work on hers first, and then we'll deal with the mine later, because mine's the bigger one.
Yeah, dude.
That can be dealt with later.
I was really blessed to come out of the Marine Corps with no debt and had enough. Like, I had around 22,000 all saved up, and I look back at it, and if I was not, because like it wasn't until the program where I became huge into alcohol.
Right.
Like, I got there because I just got back where I was in Yuma, and I was strictly on a bodybuilding kind of diet and plan for workout, and did a 2 year solid peak of my performance because I was introduced myself into bodybuilding. And I don't think I'll ever achieve that. Me and Dominic were talking about it the other day because that was like my peak interest. Now I have a bunch of bad habits. I got a bunch of things that I know I can go a certain distance or time about without having to do something again to catch up to where I was, whatever. But I was peak, and then I went and got introduced to a place where all there is to do is drink. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna adapt and overcome, like I've been told since boot camp, and I'm gonna drink. And then it got to the point where every paycheck the Marine Corps was giving me, I was spending $1,000 on alcohol in that month.
It's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, 15, whatever, half a month. Yeah, dude, because like that was my whole thing. Is I thankfully, and that's the one thing that I think saved me is I dropped out of college.
Yeah.
And I dropped out of college because I had a drinking problem.
I remember those stories you told me.
Yeah, like
Wild.
I would just be drinking all the time.
A cardboard castle.
That was dope though. That was actually for a fundraiser to raise awareness for the homeless and to get food for the food bank. It was dope. I also played my guitar for pennies. I'm just sitting out there strumming my guitar like the freaking creep I was. Oh man, dude, if I could see me in college, I'd be like, dude, what are you doing?
Dude, that's why I hate Facebook memory because it brings back all the stuff I would post. Like I thought it was like philosophical.
I love it. Dude, those are the best. I like read it and I'm like, dude, what was happening to me in 2012?
Yeah, dude.
So like, I thought these were song lyrics, but this is some depressing shit.
Like what was it? I was like quoted like a Five Finger Death Punch song, and I was like, it's like you're. I was like, why? I was like, what part of this song decided to like just influence my mind?
That's my biggest thing.
Everybody's gonna want to listen to this lyric right here.
Dude, that was me. So like I'd see something, I'd be like, dude, how was I vibing with that? Like, what about that resonated with my soul at that time? And I was just like,
yeah, dude. Or I posted something like, oh, be true to you. You know, live your best. I was like, no.
Not all of us can be Ward, alright?
Yeah.
Inspiring everybody.
Dude, I thought I was doing that,
great.
and everyone's probably like looking at it like, what is it? Like, because I was not a popular dude in high school at all, and that's when I got Facebook.
Right.
And so my first friend was
Same
my
here.
mom.
Yeah.
And then I had my dad and his side of the family on there, so I could talk to him. And then I just started adding people from high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I heard their name, I'd be like, dude, I hope they accept friend request. That means we're friends in real life.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't like a creepy dude, but I mean, I was definitely not. I was brand new to it. No one. It was like a family town.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was related somehow to someone, kind of inbred, if you want to think about it that way. Because I mean, some of them look the part,
Mm-hmm.
but everyone grew up with each other from kindergarten to now, and I came in, and I came from a predominantly black school, and so I come in dressing the part. I was a little weird. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I was sagging my pants to football practice during. I went to football camp during the summer, and this is my first introduction to these guys. And I'm sagging my pants, and I'm looking like a jabroni.
Right.
For me, looking back at myself, I would definitely call myself a jabroni.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I don't know where that was going. It was going somewhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, thankfully for me, I didn't have to deal with the awkwardness of like learning how social media worked because I had the good old.
That's what it was, social media.
I had the good old MySpace.
Yeah. Oh,
Before
wow.
Facebook. Yep, had my freaking all of the 3 Days Grace and Bullet for my Valentine songs on my homepage. Just saying. And like the sweet freaking black and red backgrounds that I found on other places. That was what's so great about MySpace is it actually forced you to learn a little bit about like HTML programming. Because you had to like type in everything and then add your hyperlinks and do all the colons and everything correctly.
Oh,
and you're
wow.
like looking on the things, you hit enter, and then you like refresh your homepage and see if it's set up properly. And if not, you had to go back in and adjust, the offset for the freaking pixels, and then go back in and make sure it's perfectly right. And then you had to add the plug-in for the the audio player, so that way it'd play music whenever anybody went on your page. Like you were pretty much learning how to program a web page from MySpace back in the old days. Like it was just like
I didn't know that was all in that.
you have a page here. If you want to edit it, you go in here and you just type in all the stuff.
Wow. My mom had a MySpace. I didn't even have a MySpace.
A lot of people they have like the default ones that they could use, but you could actually customize it to like ridiculous levels. Nowadays, like if you go on MySpace, which is still a thing, believe it or not.
I thought it'd be dead.
Nope, still alive. Still have an account on there because they don't delete anything. Still has the old cringy photos from freaking 7th and 8th grade. Still there. Still there. But yeah, that's where I got my first experience. And then I was hesitant to go to Facebook, so I was like, it's stupid. It looks dumb. Like,
Yeah,
it's not
I was
nearly as cool as MySpace.
I was really on there for the games, to be honest.
I think that's what got me started.
I
And then-
definitely play the games.
And then I was like, well, the Messenger is a little bit faster than MySpace Messenger, and everybody's on Facebook, so like nobody's on MySpace
Yeah.
Messenger anymore. So I have to go to Facebook if I want to talk to people, because I mean,
I feel like Instagram's a new thing.
like the only time I would ever get on Instagram's old now.
I don't know, dude. Like everyone's like saying like no. Every time I see like a YouTube channel or whatever, and they put their plug in, like everyone's putting their Twitter and their Instagram. No one's touching like see me at Facebook. Like I feel like Facebook is definitely gonna be dying. It's gonna take the way of MySpace soon.
Yeah, Facebook is going out, but Facebook owns Instagram.
I did not know that.
Pretty sure that Facebook owns Instagram, and that's why Instagram now has Messenger and has comments and has all of the same shit that Facebook has.
Do you think that you could like redefine a social media platform?
No, it's all been done.
Yeah, but Instagram's pretty much the same thing. Like you could put a picture and then like whatever status you want. It's just getting your views out to everyone that you have that's accepted to see whatever you want to post.
On April 9th, 2012, Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion.
Nice. It's pretty cheap.
So Facebook has owned Instagram for a very long time.
You get a 2-for-1 sale.
Yeah. So Facebook doesn't care. That's why you can now post things to your Instagram and it shows up on your Facebook. You actually have that option
Yep,
to
I've
link
seen
the
that.
two of them together, and it will automatically post on your Facebook whatever you post on Instagram. So I think that's why you're not seeing Facebook put so much, because a lot of people, they don't want, people are getting lazier and lazier, and it's a lot easier. Like the picture's worth 1,000 words. Easiest way to put it. Instagram, you put a picture up there, you don't have to write a paragraph describing your day. This, that, and
Everyone
the
still
other.
does it though.
Yeah, but nobody cares. You and I guarantee you, read the first 2 lines, and where it says read more, you're like, fuck it. Double tap, keep scrolling.
Unless the picture is interesting, I will not touch read more.
Yeah, but that's the thing, all the pictures are fucking interesting.
Unless I really want it. Like if someone posted it and I think it's retarded, I definitely want to get more mad.
Yeah.
And so I'll read it to see
Yeah.
how far it goes.
How down a rabbit hole. But my whole thing is, like, I don't even go on Instagram anymore. Like, I don't.
I don't even have one, dude. I just have Facebook. I don't even have a Twitter.
See, I tried to do the whole Instagram thing. I couldn't get into it. Like, I started back when I was in freaking, whatchamacallit? When I was back in Quantico. And I try to, like, post things every now and then about this, that, and the other. You know, like, there's 1.0 when I painted the rims. Oh, that's right. You can actually scroll now. There's my bike that I owned for a while.
Oh, is this stuff you posted to
Well,
Instagram through Facebook?
No, just to Instagram directly.
Oh, okay.
So this is back 2013. You know, there's me putting red lights in there. Oh, that was when I actually got music videos to play on the Double Den, which I figured out how to do that. It still does it to this day. But I can put a thumb drive in the center console, and then from there I can play music videos directly to it. It also has a DVD player, and also has audio imports and video imports, so I can hook up like a Xbox 360 to it or whatever.
What?
There's the original subs in the trunk. There's me painting the rims. There's a picture of me being 21 and over, getting my first drink. Mostly just pictures of my car. Mostly pictures of my car. Lots of pictures of my car. Oh yeah, when I broke my nose.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I got kneed in the face. Kneed in the face. It was actually really majestic, alright? So we were running along the flight line, and we were running past a bunch of those parking blocks, and it's the Marine Corps, so nobody takes care of anything, and they just let things fall apart. So inside one of those parking blocks, there's a rebar sticking out in the long grass that nobody had cut. So I'm running along, and my shoelace, the hoop on it, gets wrapped perfectly around that thing. So as I'm running, I'm like, whoop, and I trip, and I go to pull my leg to try and get it off, and it actually turns me around in midair. So then I slap the ground to come back up as my corporal's trying to jump over me, and he just knees me straight in the face. So I'm like, oh! So what you see there is actually my glasses, because I hit the ground and they slid down. That's where he embedded the glasses into my actual nose, and it fractured my nose. And so
I'm surprised they stood up.
Yeah.
Like they didn't break.
Yeah, no, those are the nice little wireframe ones.
Golly.
Great. I was raining and I was on my way back to base, so I parked at the gas station and waited for the rain to go away.
Yeah, I remember like in Quantico waiting for the rain to stop, and I mean it was like if you go as soon as it stops, it's gonna come back like 3 seconds.
Oh, that
later.
was down in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And then there was the first casualty of the 15s in the trunk. There was a reflector lens in my taillight that busted out, so my taillights rattled
Oh no.
at that point whenever the subs went. That was a 3 terabyte hard drive that I was trying to format to get it to work inside of the car, so I could have an entire library of music videos, and I could just scroll through and play whatever song I wanted and have music videos in the car. Just me doing dumb stuff. I put LEDs in the grill. There's me taking the headlights out and working on the car. More working on the car, doing dumb stuff. I destroyed these dudes in Halo. More car stuff. I found a blue red box. I thought that was funny enough to put on there. There's Harley and I getting drunk. Me being a boot. And then there's me and freaking Quantico. Or not Quantico, that's me and Quito. Just dual wielding M9s. Yeah, akimbo M9s with a perfect rhythm. I mean, look at that. Perfect back and forth. And then here's me taking forever to load a shotgun with 5 slugs and then getting rid of them in like 4 seconds. It's actually a really cool video. I love it to death. But loading freaking slugs in there because we're at the range.
Yeah.
It's RSO range. We're at post. It's just us.
I wish I had the video still of me dueling IARs. Golly, dude. I wouldn't be able to. Like, I hate shooting slugs because of how, like, direct the impact feels despite having the buttstock.
Mm-hmm.
I hate shooting slugs.
A McDonald's in Ecuador. I don't know why I felt like taking a video of it. Just me cruising around in Ecuador. There's a mountain. You know, it was cool stuff. I thought that people would want to see. 43 people liked it. Oh, no, just looked at it. Nobody liked it. Me on top of... I was like, how can you fly? The air here is literally non-existent. And then here's, Jenna shooting a handgun. Jeremy and I were home one day, 1911. Fun stuff. Triple monitors when I got out of the Marine Corps. Us. Looking all dapper. Some more car parts. Me putting said car parts inside of car on base. Taillights, the rims when I got them when they were nice. Me being lame. There's Lima. Pence. There's me drinking a beer and hula hooping. Rolled my sleeves, they look nice. I was like, I'm gonna take a picture. And then I got out, and then trying to help Zach and Schaefer, and then podcast. And then I gave up after like podcast 3 because I was like, I'm not reaching anybody new here. Like, this is.
Yeah, dude. That's one thing I wish I did is take more pictures of, the missions I was on. The only one I really took pictures of is the Korea one that we were on. I have some from Haiti. I got a bunch from Jerusalem. But, I mean, as far as that goes, and then the one from New Guinea with Pence, and then I was supposed to get the one with the Secretary of State from Jerusalem, but I never got an email back from that dude.
Oh, yeah, you never got me to email that really cool picture of me and Pristina, Kosovo. But I understand if you weren't able to.
Oh, yeah, dude, I looked, and, because they did this thing where they decided to completely clear out the share drive.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, they did at least 3 times in 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And so nothing, because they didn't want people taking old products, and then because there's a whole new format that would definitely change the way the mission went if it was not given to the CO. So it has to be done like this. It has to be, an 1/8 of an inch over here, and it was ridiculous. So they scraped everything. No matter, nothing was saved. No one decided that we should probably keep these documents as they're legal documents. And
Right.
they're technically secret because there's pictures of, inside compound stuff.
Right.
And, it should be kind of, safe and stored, not on a open net computer. And so that's why they deleted them. It's because of that reason.
Right. And that's exactly what I was asking for. A picture of me on a balcony in full kit, smoking a cigarette with Kosovo in the background. But that was from our post-deployment brief or whatever for the CO. It's just me sitting there smoking a cigarette. It looked dope.
That's a little bit better than most of these people. Some of these people will go on VIPs and they go to the suite that the VP was in, and they'll take pictures on the sofa or whatever, by the liquor cabinet or whatever, depending on what hotel it is.
We were there for a fucking argument. It's what am I gonna take pictures of? You know what I mean?
I mean, I see a bunch of people that try to do the Ricky Recon stuff, and I don't know.
Nope. I'm just sitting there. I got one arm tucked in my flak like this. I got a cigarette in my mouth. I got the other arm tucked in my flak like this. My M4's just hanging on my chest. I got my Kevlar on. I'm just standing on the balcony. I'm like, what's good? We here, baby.
I had a picture of me in Central Africa, but I can't remember. I've looked all through WhatsApp and I couldn't find it. It was pretty cool. I had my IR and everything.
Yeah.
I felt so
You
cool.
and those fucking IARs,
Dude, as soon as I was kind of low key mad whenever I was told to go get one because I was like, this is more gear we get issued. And then we went to the UKD range, bro.
Yeah, I remember.
And I absolutely fell in love.
Well, first off, there was when you tried to shoulder 2 of them.
Yeah, I tried looking for that video actually like a couple of days ago, and I don't know where it's at. I don't know if I deleted it or not, or it's like floating around social media somewhere because it was definitely on there for a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe did you send it to me? Let me look. Let me see if I can find it. You keep telling stories.
But yeah, like there was that time, but my first introduction to it was just I felt absolutely like that was the only weapon I would take with me on any mission, and then I was like a team leader whenever we went on a couple of augments, and they're like, yeah, the team leader's not supposed to have it technically, it's supposed to be a machine gunner, and I was like, I do not care.
Oh, what is this? The first video I fucking find, dude.
Where, dude? Where?
You sent it to me on Facebook Messenger, man.
Dude, I felt so cool.
You're like, do it. I'm like, all right, go ahead.
Oh my gosh, dude. 60 rounds were dumped in the matter of 2 seconds.
Yeah. Dude, I'll resend it to you. Well, I don't know if I can send it to you. Hold on, let me, yeah, I can save it. Look at that. I'll just resend it to you.
Because I had Doc behind me, and, he every time the IR came out, he always wanted to shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, yeah, I'll clean it for you later, but never really wanted to clean
Yeah,
it.
no, why would he?
Yeah.
You'll
I mean,
do it for him, sucker.
I'm pretty sure he's not one of those cool docs that everyone talks about, like, oh, yeah, back in the day, me and the boys and Doc. He's definitely not that type of dude. Because that dude stopped showing up to work.
Well, I don't blame him.
I mean, I low-key don't either. But I mean, like, still, I'm like, I have to come to this sync meeting. You have to come to this sync meeting.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that UKD range, and whenever your sight was
Yeah,
not
my
screwed
RCO
in,
was loose as shit.
and you're
I
like,
kept getting.
yeah, I was like,
hit the same
1
spot.
foot to the right, 1 foot up, and it shot the exact same spot, and I was like, 1 foot to the right, 1 foot up, and then same spot, and I was like, dude, 1 foot to the right, 1 foot up, and you're like, I am, and that was like, you're like, I'm aiming
I
off
can't
to
even see the target anymore.
It's like I'm aiming off of the tree line. And I was like, how are you hitting the same rock? And then we found out that it was just bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yep. I was like, bloop, and it just like came off. I was like, what the fuck?
I was like, oh my, that's not good at all.
Where was this? Let me just screw this back on there. Bing! Alright, we're back on target. It's good.
But dude, that sight, I mean, I don't know what's about it, but I mean, it makes anyone to a marksman. Like, because we were hitting that 500-yard target, like it was nothing.
That was a lot of fun. I think you gave me your bipod at one point too.
Yeah, to put on your M4.
Fucking info. So
I mean, it worked.
It did work.
It does what it's supposed to.
It was dumb, but it was great at the same time.
It looks so out of place.
Yeah.
You just look over and you're, what the? You got this big beefy looking gun with like 2 sights on it and everything. You're like, that one definitely requires more stability.
Right.
And you got this little M4 over here.
I definitely think that one of my favorite things is when we did a lot of those drills, like where you would have to like run from station to station, or the ones where you had to like do like the kneeling and the shooting positions. And I forget what it was.
VIP shoot.
There was one of them where I was like completely upside down. They're like, there's no fucking ways. Bing!
Oh
Are
yeah.
you kidding me?
Dude, I hated those drills because
I'm in full kit and I'm like floating like a pretzel, and you're like, how?
Dude, no, like, because they told me VATS could do it, and I was like, yeah, VATS like a size and a half of me, and I'm like, how did he do this?
Right.
I'm just not, like, I was not, like, even not in kit, I was choking myself out because my shoulder was pushing against my neck, and I'm like trying to shoot that triangle mouse hole at the very bottom.
Yeah, that was my
and I was like,
one.
Dude, how do you do this? And they put me in kit, and I'm like blacking out while I'm doing this. I'm like, I really hope this hits. I heard a ting. I was like, thank God. And I'm slowly trying to get up, catching my breath and everything.
Can't stand up too fast.
Yeah,
so
I'm like,
pass
oh
out.
shit.
So all the blood is in your head, and you stand up too fast.
I like that night shoot we did with pistols.
That
Like
was
the
so
combat pistol shoot. That was fun.
That was
And
a lot of fun.
my stupid self, like I was sitting there doing the flashlight thing, and I had my flashlight out here, and I was about to shoot, and so I brought it closer so I could see my sights, but I was not thinking the slide was going to come back. Anyways, my nose, I'm like, ah! I was like, it bit me. Those were so cold that night, though. We started
Dude,
jumping
like every
rounds.
time you fired and you breathed in, like you would exhale from like the unspent powder, and how cold it was, you wouldn't be able to see your sights anymore.
Yeah.
So I actually had to force myself to only breathe through my nose. I couldn't breathe through because most people when they shoot, you start breathing through your mouth. Everybody does. Everybody breathes through their mouth when they're shooting.
I have to keep track of that.
Yeah, keep track of that.
I'm gonna hit you up one day and be like, it works. You're like, why are you messaging me at 2 a.m? Because I'm about to shoot right now.
But I don't know. I could be wrong on that. But I don't know. I always feel like.
No, you do have a point because I remember like going hunting and like the adrenaline like kind of heats your body up and like you're
everybody
breathing.
starts breathing out of their mouth.
And I scoped. I fogged up the whole thing and I was like, I'm like,
as soon as your subconscious kicks in and you're not consciously paying attention to your breathing, you'll start breathing through your mouth.
You just go back to that tribal state.
Because I think it's more audible, so it allows you to focus on your breathing. And then so you're listening to your breath and going. Doesn't do it. Not when your heart's going. You can't breathe through your nose when you're doing that. You're gonna pass out. You have to breathe through your mouth. Your adrenaline's going through the roof. You know.
Yeah, I could see where that would work.
I don't know.
We did drills. I mean, we were doing a bunch of like doing jumping jack. Like we did this one drill in Honduras where we had those CS gas containers, and we thought they were dummies. But the one that was thrown was not a dummy. And so we're doing jumping jacks and push-ups and all this other like burpees pretty much in CS gas. And then like the RSO that did it, he was just like, nobody say anything because that was not supposed to happen. It was supposed to be a dummy and you get the effects and you're supposed to just get just because you're doing the exercises, that's what's supposed to get your heart rate up and your breathing so that whenever you're trying to shoot, you're focusing on the fundamentals, not the fact that now CS gas is now added.
Right.
And so now everyone's eyes are tearing up, your nose is running, and you're and all this other stuff. But I mean, it was really good training.
Right.
Like thinking, like while we were doing it, I was like, I don't even care about that. I was like, this is fun. Right. I was like, I like doing this real stuff. But yeah, dude, I was definitely breathing through my mouth for surezies. Trying to, yeah. I mean, especially with walking, I like to breathe through my mouth, I think, because I want to keep, on the step that you're on your weak foot so that you're set up in a good posture.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of drills and doing exercises and drills, how many times did Benny's M9 fly out of his holster when we would sprint from like the 50-yard line to the 7 dude. And try and do that box drill? And you just see the M9 chasing him, rolling.
Dude, I think I saw it a solid 3 or 4 times. And then he found out there was a screw missing that would do the retention for the holster, and that's why.
That's why, he was.
Yeah, he had a faulty holster the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
I'm
not saying.
Oh no.
Against Benny, like he's great. He can shoot all fucking day. But I think what gave him that competitive edge is he didn't have to worry about retention. He just had to snatch and grip and go.
Dude, I did that when I was in the MSG school. I definitely broke that fucking holster. Oh, yeah. Like, I was sitting there with the red gun, and because it's a little bit smaller than the actual M9, I was rubbing that raw so that whenever it came down to it, despite the lock being there, I could still rip it out of the lock.
Right.
So, I mean, it's saving me, like, a half a second, but, I mean, that's a half a second on a 2-second drill where you have to do 2 shots, and, I mean, you're pulling, sighting, breathing, doing all this stuff in 2 seconds. I mean, it's a long time while you do it, but I mean, like, thinking about it, it's definitely not a long time.
Yeah. No,
or vice versa. Thinking about it, it's like, that's a long time, pretty much. Like, 1,000, 2 1,000. And you're pulling out, shooting, and assessing, and all other stuff. So that half a second, it's like, phew, it's a lot.
It means a lot. It gives you more time to do everything else. It allows you to slow down a little bit and focus on putting around where it's supposed to be.
You know what else means a lot?
You.
Oh. I was going to say that.
Beats to it. Alright.
This brings us back to who is sponsoring this.
No, there's no sponsors.
Oh. Is that do you have like a contract for YouTube that says you can't say certain things?
No. I haven't signed anything with YouTube that I know of. I'm sure I accepted a license agreement or something at some point.
Really? Because I've seen a lot of people saying like they can't say certain things, and when I thought about making one, I would definitely break that fourth wall. Like I know people are talking to an audience, but I would definitely be like, yeah, I can't say this because I mean some people do say that YouTube says this, or YouTube does this, but
I don't think there's necessarily so. The way that YouTube works is the big thing that people say, "Oh, I can't say this. Oh, I can't say that." They can. There's just repercussions for that.
yeah, they
So,
demonetize the video.
demonetization is the biggest thing and that's not necessarily because of YouTube. It's YouTube trying to keep their sponsors happy. So
Yeah.
anybody that advertises on their channel, they're like, "Hey, man, I don't want to be affiliated with racism, sexism,
Anything that can be portrayed as that, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of these family companies, they don't even want to deal with cursing, non-family content, mature content,
Makes sense.
graphics, and things like. So, it's not that YouTube's saying, "Hey, don't say this." Now, granted, with some things like hate speech, racism, things like that, they may just take your video down and be like, "Hey, man, you
broke.
you broke the conduct, the code of the rules of conduct on our platform. No, can't do that here." But a lot of the gun channels are getting demonetized because of things like that. And a lot of people with just generally mature content, cuss words,
They have to start bleeping it. Like I heard someone say that you can't do anything, you can't say anything within the first 2 minutes. Everything has to be blurred out, and after the 2 minutes, you can say whatever you want.
I don't know.
Cursing-wise.
I think that's just them trying to trick the algorithm.
Maybe
Because what happens is an algorithm scans if it finds anything, and then a person gets assigned to it. They watch over it, and it's under pending whatever. Usually they'll mute the audio on the video or just completely take it down if it's a video-based thing. Because usually the algorithm just listens. It can't see.
Okay.
So it
know
listens. And
that.
if it hears something that makes it suspicious, they'll then mute the video, have someone else go in and look at it. And if they don't like it, they'll take it down. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a platform.
Yeah.
All YouTube is a middleman between content creators and content absorbers and advertisers. And they kind of bring all that together.
Yeah, I saw Bloomberg was spending $500,000 a day.
Yeah.
Or not? No. What was it?
It was
It
ridiculous.
was it was something over $500,000.
Yeah, and he just gave all that money to
To Biden.
Biden.
Yeah, because he decided he was funny because I think he was only in the race for about maybe a month, and then he's blowing up ads. There's not a single YouTube video
without his.
Yeah, every single 5 seconds I was
Yeah.
seeing on every video.
And that kind of annoyed me.
I mean, I get what you're doing, but there becomes a point where you're smothering your audience.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, if I saw a Trump commercial every 5 minutes on a video I'm trying to watch,
Yeah,
I would be
annoyed.
just stop.
Whoever his advertising manager is an idiot. And should
100%.
Never do it again. Never do it again.
I mean, obviously because no one cared about him.
The answer isn't just throw money at it. That's literally what they try to do. Let's just throw money at it. We'll brainwash them with all these commercials. And literally, everybody's like, "Dude, if I hear his name one more time."
Yeah, it became memes.
Yeah.
He became a meme because of how just over cumbersome he was, just shoveling it. I understand, do it every other day. Blare your ads on the videos for a day, calm down the next day, and then just do it again. But it was now it was a water hose.
Yeah, just drowning all.
Yeah, and that I think they do that. So then, YouTube hits you up and hey, you can try this free trial, $15 a month after it.
Yeah,
no ads.
I got the.
And I was like, you guys are some dirty scumbags.
Yeah, dude, and that's what I feel like, man. I was like, everybody, everywhere, everybody's just trying to more. Nobody's ever content. You know what I mean? Nobody's ever content.
I mean,
None of these companies get to a spot where they're like, you know what? We're good here.
no, man.
I mean, look at Facebook. You can't watch a video on Facebook without having to watch an ad halfway through it. Half the posts, half the posts are sponsored on my Facebook news feed. Same thing with Instagram. You'll be scrolling through and you're like, really? TikTok.
Well, I'm pretty
you're
sure
scrolling
they
through,
have an
really?
algorithm with Google to be track on whatever you're looking up on Google.
Oh yeah.
And they'll pop it up on your Facebook.
Well, yeah, that's because
If you have your account signed in to if
Yeah.
your accounts are all linked to one account, then I can.
So the way that it works, and a lot of people get confused by this, especially Congress. So what happens is every time you visit a website, that website has the option to give you a cookie. And what a cookie is it's just data that website will refer back to so it doesn't take as long to load. And so all these websites give you little cookies or little bits of information about them, so that way when you click on the website link, it pulls from that data, makes sure everything's up to date, downloads what it needs to, and then slaps it back up there. Just to make your web browsing experience faster. That's all it is it has a lot of the web pages that you visit often pre-downloaded on your computer, and it just makes sure that there's nothing new, updates it as it needs to, slaps on the screen. Could be wrong on this. I'm sure people will yell at me later. Now, if you're signed in on Google Chrome on your computer and you're like searching things up, and then you got an Android phone and you go and you look on there, you know what I mean? The cookies from there can be read from your phone, and vice versa. The cookies on your phone from the websites you visit can be read on your computer, because it's on your Google account.
Yeah.
And it's in order to make your browsing experience faster and more efficient, things like that. Well, these advertising companies will be like, hey, we can tailor your advertisements by just reading what their cookies look like. And so what they do is when you go on there, Facebook pulls from your cookie library, sees what it is, and then that advertising company then pulls ads based off of what you've been viewing from your cookies, and then slaps it up on there and tries to give you stuff. That's why, like, if you will literally go at a website and look at something, and then you go to Facebook, you will see that exact website on your Facebook as an advertisement, because that website is paying that advertiser to advertise their product, and you've been there. So they're like, hey, you've already been here. You didn't buy anything. Or maybe you did buy something. Here it is again, just teasing you. Because if you keep seeing it, and you have to keep talking yourself out of it, eventually you're gonna say fuck it and just buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've noticed, like, I've ordered some stuff from, like, Facebook websites that would, like, pop up, and I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I'll like, I got a straightener brush from, like, an ad on Facebook. But then...
Does this actually work?
No, that's not. My mom found one better on Amazon, and she was like, yeah, I was, order this one.
Because I thought about getting one because my beard's a little... But yours looks really nice. I don't know what you do. But...
So I just comb this. I mean, sometimes I have the straightener brush with me too. I brought it with me just in case. But I mean, I've been keeping my hair up, so I haven't needed it. And plus, it takes a minute. Like, it has to heat up to like 190, and then maybe it works. I mean, the brush that I got works. But I mean, I got the little comb one that, I mean, if you touched it, like it took way too long to heat up, and it did not do what it said in the ad. So I got it, and then I went to go look for that site. Nowhere to be found.
Yeah. One of the big things that Facebook has right now that I really freaking want are the damn hooded blankets.
Oh.
I want one so bad, but they're so expensive.
You can get a hooded towel. It's for kids.
I don't want a hooded towel. I want a hooded blanket.
Oh.
Alright, because first off, they're all like Nordic themed, which is like dope as shit.
Oh, I've seen what I know what you're talking about.
It's like the blanket, but then it's got like that fake fur on the inside. It's like all plushy and shit. And I'm like, dude, that would be perfect for gaming.
Get like a XXX hoodie.
Yeah, but it won't have the fur on the inside.
Just kill an animal. I saw a feral cat walking down the street today.
Okay, that's like socks. Okay, that was a lot.
If you skinned an animal, like back in the day whenever they did this, would you do it to where your foot was on the outside of the skin or on the inside of the skin and the fur was out?
That is the age-old question. Form over function, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it would be more durable if your foot was inside.
In the fur.
Well, I mean, if you're going for warmth, I would definitely put it on the outside. But if I'm going for, I don't know, just, maybe I think like on the outside of the fur would be best.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because otherwise the fur's going to get all matted. You're going to, like, it's going to grab onto things. It's going to be dirty.
That's what Ugg boots do pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same as Uggs.
Yeah.
But I mean, a little bit. I mean, if you have a long tail.
White women love them. And there's not a lot of things that white women love that everybody doesn't love.
I don't know. Recently? Or just in general?
Just in general.
Oh.
Well, I wouldn't say love, but like everybody can enjoy.
Avocados.
Right, so,
I hate avocados.
I love avocados, first of all. Chipotle.
No.
I like Chipotle.
I do not.
Starbucks. I can drink a couple things at Starbucks.
Dude, I feel like avocados have like kind of taken over as
the new banana.
No, you can make anything gourmet with avocado.
Oh yeah.
Like someone said, you could take like white girls would take toast. Basic burnt bread, rub avocado on it, and be like, taking Instagram photos, be like, breakfast, gourmet, brunch, hashtag, whatever.
Dude, see, I don't get bougie with my avocados. I cut it in half, I cover that bitch in salt, and I eat it with a spoon.
Oh.
That's it. I eat that shit straight.
When people say that, I imagine like Osmosis Jones, wherever he has that egg, And he's like, he eats it and swallows down the anthrax.
Yeah, no, because I cut it in the middle, twist it, take the pit out, I slam it with a knife, then you twist it, you pull it out, you flick it in, then I crush salt over top of it, and then I just grab a spoon and I just scoop it out from the skin.
What are you crushing salt with?
Salt grinder.
You have a salt? It's like a stalagmite of salt?
No. You know what it is. I'm just explaining it terribly. It's just a salt grinder.
Oh, okay, so it has like flakes.
No, they're like little rocks.
Oh.
And then there's a grinder on the bottom, so as you turn it, it crushes it and.
Dude, I wonder if you could do that with like crack rocks.
And
Yeah.
It was pepper too.
I wonder if you could put like crack rocks inside those and like grind up the crack rocks. And that, like, no, just put it on your food. I wonder if it worked like as edibles do.
No, probably not. Because the thing with, well, maybe. So edibles. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I've never done edibles. I just listen to Joe Rogan talk about them like a lot.
Well, from what I've seen from working like at dispensaries, like edibles is the longest lasting and longest.
And it's different.
Yeah.
It actually has the.
From people who told me it's like a little more dense. It feels a little bit more dense.
Yeah, because it's getting processed by your liver and not your lungs.
Yeah.
So it's got a more. It like produces something different than THC.
Yeah.
And that one actually has psychedelic effects, whereas THC typically doesn't.
I could, dude. What if like you ate too much like when you first go around? Like if I give you a chocolate bar, but like 5 grams is like to get anyone high apparently, but this thing has like 25 grams in it, and I give it to you. I mean, you're gonna eat it all. Like I wonder what would happen.
Well, you can't die.
You can, but it takes a metric ton
Yeah.
of it to kill you.
Like more than you can almost
you
feasibly consume.
You would pass out way before you could OD on it.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume you would just go on a really long, really fun adventure through different timelines.
That'd be pretty dope, dude. I mean, I've looked into it because, like, you know, I see, like, they have a TV in the waiting room, and I, like, look up and it tells, like, fun facts, and I was like, I want to, at the dispensary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll have, like, fun facts about it, and I'd look up some stuff and just, like, see how it, like, it does and, like, how it actually reacts and on, to, like, certain different things and how people claim by it to be medicinal. I mean, there's a lot of, like, stuff. I mean, it's really hard because everyone has a platform on the internet, so it's really hard to find out who's true, who's not.
Right.
Because, I mean, you can't trust anything, man. Like, even medical people today are pushing out stuff like the coronavirus and just focusing on death rates and not even saying anything about, like, the rating of people that are still good.
Yeah.
Like, there's a huge, like, 100,000 infected, and there's, like, 38,000 that are still good, and only, like, 2,000 have died. Or 200. Some minuscule number compared to the amount of people infected.
I know that all that matters for me. Like, I get it. Like, it sucks, but old people are... You're screwed. But the statistic right now is 99.7% of people infected under the age of 50 are fine.
Yeah.
Don't die. 99.7.
It's kind of like whenever we were exposed to disease before vaccines.
Yeah.
Vaccines cause autism.
No.
They cause blindness.
I
Cerebral
saw
palsy.
this hilarious meme. It's like someone was like, I got an answer to vaccines. Instead of using chemicals, why don't you use a weakened version of the virus in order to boost someone's immune system to it? And it's like when you go so anti-vax, you reinvent vaccines.
I saw that same one. I was like, oh man.
Like, oh man.
Dude, I actually met a chick on Tinder, and like, she seemed pretty cool at first. Like, she was all about guns. Like, she was a huge Trump supporter. Kind of scary to like how the extent of like how much she was a supporter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think
might have been racist.
No, I mean, everyone's a little racist. I think everyone's a little racist.
That's what cats say.
Cats?
Yeah. It's a musical.
Oh, yeah.
There's a song in the musical called Everyone's Racist.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a movie out called Cats.
I
Taylor Swift did. I heard it's really bad.
It is. I haven't seen it, but...
No, I haven't either. But, I mean, I've done special events where, like,
but
cats...
maybe we could... One of our shitty movies. Keep
We
going.
watch Cats.
We just watch the new Cats. We're like, why have you done this?
But, yeah, man. What was I getting at? I was saying, I was on a roll.
I'm sorry. Chick, Trump supporter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, and then she told me like she doesn't want to vaccinate her kids, and I'm all like So my mom vaccinated my little brother, and she waited till he was like one or two before he actually got his vaccinations, and he actually had an allergic reaction to one of the vaccines he got, and they said that if he was any younger, he would have died from it. Like, so I mean, some people, and I kind of agree with it. Like, wait for this, illness to be injected into you. Wait for you to like, be experienced of the world for a second. Like, you just learned how to breathe for the first time, and guess what? Here's smallpox.
Right.
Here's measles. Here's mumps, and then you're just like, bro, I just learned what Earth was and living. Like, I'm outside my mom, and this is my first time experiencing this, and you're gonna like slap me in the face with 3 diseases that are notorious for killing kids. Like, give them a couple. Like, let them experience the world. Let them like crap themselves once or twice, and then decide to give it to them.
Right.
But she said she straight up did not want to do it, and I was like, I mean, yeah, we did it back in the day. Yeah, we lasted till like we were 40. That's a life. I was telling a buddy, I was like, I would love to live in medieval ages, because, and then he's like, dude, the life expectancy back then was like your 30s or 40s. So I was like, you're living your best life. I was like, in those years,
Yeah, I mean,
you're going out to fight. I mean, you're raping, pillaging, taking monies. I mean, you're doing like whatever. And I was like, dude, I would not mind dying at 30. I was like, by the time like I would have my raping and pillaging like stocked full for 2 lifetimes. Have interest in that.
Maybe that's what you're on right now. The second lifetime. Boy.
It's wild.
Yeah, and then when you get reborn after the Boogaloo Part 3, and the
Just-
whole world goes to chaos, and it's just a bunch of different Viking bands raping and pillaging.
It's called Valhalla.
What's left of the
Yeah.
what's left of the governments after they've collapsed?
Yeah, I feel like you could be hearing rock and roll from space if that happened. Like that, there'd be someone like that would make a obscene speaker that would go into space. You could hear it from it, and like that's why.
Just blares fucking
Yeah.
screaming 24/7.
And aliens are just like, I ain't going over there, dude. That sounds hideous. Or it's like a mating call and just attracts aliens.
Or you strap that speaker to a rocket ship, and then we go rape and pillage alien colonies.
Dude, that'd be crazy.
Let's go galactic with our Vikingness.
I have Jenkins. I don't know if you remember him, but
Jenkins or Jenkins?
either or.
Arms or no arms?
No arms.
Okay, I don't know no arms.
Oh, okay. But he said that if he had to kill himself, he would definitely go in a black hole. But he would definitely take meth, acid, crack, like every single drug possible, and just get blissed out of his mind, and then go into a black hole. He's like, if I want to die, that's how I would want to die. I was like, that's crazy, dude.
I want to be awake. I want to know exactly what was going on if I went into a black hole.
Dude,
Too
just-
curious. Too curious to let it waste.
I don't know, dude. Like, cause from what they say, like how it rips you apart and everything, I do not want to be a part of that.
Oh, you'll be dead long before you get ripped apart.
Oh yeah, I mean, like Interstellar, like that creeped me out. Seeing like the
Oh, dude.
horizon, dude.
That movie was amazing.
I love it. I
I
love.
every second of that movie. All 3 hours of it. I love every second.
Dude, like I mean, it got me thinking one day.
He was transcending time and space.
Yeah.
To
And-
let his daughter know.
Dude, and then like it all just like circles back to like how.
Back around.
Oh my gosh, I remember. I think I watched that really drunk once, and I just started thinking. I was like, now how's that? Like, cause he was on that planet for like 12 minutes, and like he said 40 years or whatever passed, and I was sitting there. I was like, time's irrelevant. That doesn't really work out. I was like, that's not true.
It is.
I was like, there's no way that you could be sitting on a planet and 40 years is going on over here, but I only spent 12 minutes over here. It's all about rotation, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe I think I'm a little bit smarter than I actually am. I probably might even be like onto something. I don't know.
No, because it runs off of the concept that if you're able to bend light, you can bend time. Because light is the only absolute thing in the galaxy. And it's the only thing that we can use to measure time, is light.
I don't.
If that makes sense.
It-
So a
yeah.
black hole, or gravity, because black hole is just gravity, something with enough gravitational
Yeah, it's
pull
bending
that it's
light.
bending light around
Yeah.
it.
And then I mean, I feel
It's
like
not actually a black hole. It's a piece of something so dense that its gravitational pull is stopping light. There isn't actually a hole in anything.
yeah, but because correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I feel because I've read that there's density in light. Like light does have some sort of weight or some sort of push, and that, you know, it does have its own particles. And I feel, I don't know, I don't. Maybe the black hole doesn't actually bend light. Maybe the light particles are just being pushed. It's kind of like a fan almost, and you're like spritting water into it, and the water goes out so, like around it. Maybe it's like that. I don't know. Because I know like light only goes it goes one direction.
Nobody knows. We haven't found a black hole to study that's close enough.
Yeah,
Like,
they just
shoot
recently
light at it and see what happens.
They just I mean, but like they showed like
We
simulations.
just got the first picture of one.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
But like the simulations of them is pretty cool. Just watching how like the light just distorts, and it kind of looks like looking at a very hot pavement.
Yeah.
And the heat's coming up.
The only problem with that is the simulation is based off of what we think's going on. We could be completely wrong. Just like you said, it could be what you're saying, where it's not actually gravity is pulling the light in, or it's actually like pushing it away from it.
Yeah.
Like gravity has like an inverse effect on light than gravity has on mass.
Dude, that's why I think like math is wrong. Like I don't think math is real.
Oh! I've got a theory.
What's up?
I was thinking about this the other day pulling in the car. I was like, what if everybody's favorite color is in fact the same color?
And they just see it in different ways.
Yeah, so like everybody sees different colors, but what I see is green. To you, you see green, but you were told that was red.
Yeah, like that. I was talking to someone like that's how you could definitely like deceive a society into agreeing with whatever you, because like right now everyone's saying racism is bad, so everyone's gonna believe racism is bad. But I mean, there was a society once upon a time that was like, nah, it's cool, dude. Like, hate what you want, bro. Like, you do you. But then a society changed, and now the majority is saying, nah, we ain't cool with that. And then now it's the new rhetoric to like, you know, despise that. So I mean, I feel like if you could definitely change the entire outlook of an entire society if you just did something small or like along that same scale. Like for the next generation go through kindergarten, they're learning colors and everything. You're like showing just this one color, or like, you know, this color is this, but you know these other colors are also this one. And then now this new generation that's going to come up will always forever think that red is the name of all these colors, but all these colors are only this one color. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just don't understand.
Like changing a society.
You're talking about just like in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, all you have to do is like pick a couple generations and stick with something, and then eventually it'll get bred out.
Because I was talking to someone about this same thing, saying like, you know, you could have learned it this way, but I learned it this way, so who's say it's wrong?
Right.
And that's why like I use like in my little whenever I tell someone I don't think math is real, that's why I say like someone invented this. This did not, you know, there's no science behind it. It's used in science. Like it's nothing that, it's not physical. You can't touch it, and it's only explained by itself more so. And I felt like, I mean, I could be wrong. It's just my own theory that math was invented, you know, to give a physical or a representation of the quantity of what was going on, and then, you know, traders. I mean, people. Like I told my my grandpa this, and he's like, it's in the Bible. I still don't think math is real. I was like, I mean, I'm all for the Bible, but I still think math isn't real, because I mean, it's kept on developing and kept on adapting, and like evolving. Now there's letters involved in it, and now people are like, oh, this is the equation that's going to explain this, and I can explain it because of the equation that was made up by this person. And so it's like, you know, I feel like there's never a right answer when it comes to it. It just depends on what was stated before. But then there's people coming out with like theories, and they're like, oh yeah, this definitely like beats this one cancels this one out, this one's no longer a thing, throw that one to the side, worry about this one. Like that's why I feel like math is not a thing really, but it's became a thing because it's been involved in society for forever.
I can kind of agree with some of those things. My whole thing is math is just a way for us to understand how things are measured. It's just a way for us to explain to each other how we measured something.
Yeah. It's kind of like language, though. Like a language that,
yeah,
like we speak in English, and then like anywhere that we would have went, we'd have to learn their language to communicate with them.
Right.
And so, I mean, man, I was getting at something. It was a pretty good point too. Oh man, But like, oh yeah, like how people change language, like dabbing.
Yeah.
Dabbing was never. I mean, like dabbing would be like dab your brush, and then it became like a notified dance move.
Right.
Or yeah, this is slap. Slap meant you hitting something with the palm of your hand.
Right. And who knows, like what before? Like there's slang. I mean, there's still the core language, but then there's slang that comes
Yeah,
along.
but it gets identified by society, which becomes the new grammar that they use.
The only thing that I have to say about the math thing is they're not changing the fundamentals or how math works. They're just finding easier ways for people to get to the right number. So they're finding other equations that will get you there faster. Not necessarily saying the other one's wrong or it's bad. So you've got like the new math. I don't know how to explain it. I haven't learned it. I know my math, how I add, subtract, multiply, divide, and then they're doing the same thing. They're just going through it in a more roundabout way to help people who can't understand math the old way. They can hopefully understand it in the new, broken down, more steps way.
Yeah, the core
math.
Yeah,
common core math is what it's called, I believe.
But I feel like I don't know, because that changes. Like we learned 2 + 2 is 4. New day and age is like 2 + 2. Break down the 2s. It's 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 = 4.
Yeah.
And
it's the same math. The math is still the same.
I get that, but the core, it's kind of like opinions. Like your opinions always change because there's nothing like stable, or nothing that's like the center of gravity for it. Until like later on, but I mean, opinions are like floating opinions,
right?
And facts are hardcore, like solidified things.
Yeah.
And when you believe in a fact, but someone wants to have opinion about a fact, they just don't want to believe the fact. But opinions, I feel, are like math. Like, there's so many ways to do it. But there's no right way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's no right way to do it, but there is a right answer. This is the way that I look at math. There is no right way to do it as long as whatever you do gets you to the right answer.
Yeah, but someone predetermined that.
Well, that's because math is a system in which we measure things.
Yeah.
So it is predetermined. So there's nothing wrong with that. And the only thing that we're doing is we're using these equations, because really all math is it's 1 to infinity. It's just counting.
You should title this like "Math's Not Real" for clickbait. And they're like, "What's going on?" Like they skip to towards the end.
Right. Because the way I see math is 0 to infinity, or actually negative infinity to infinity.
Yep.
However you want to look at it, right? And all we're doing is we're figuring out how we're moving from one number to another number along that spectrum, or how we're taking in this information in order to find the missing piece of information. So we can measure this, but we can't measure this, so we need to use math in order to figure out what this is.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that like someone probably just thought it's like an easier way to keep track.
Yeah, that's all.
But I mean, it's I don't know. It got from just keeping the quantity and then adding it up, basic fundamentals that we know now, and now it's like it's used in rocket science with a bunch of different things with little 2's and square roots, squiggly lines, and like that was never a thing back whenever it was established.
No,
for keeping because like someone decided to add more stuff into it, which just doesn't make it a consistent baseline. It's not a consistent fact. It's continues to change by someone inputting whatever they want. Like no matter what, this rock is gonna be a rock. It's gonna be a mineral. It's gonna be a solid. There's nothing gonna change it. But how I feel about abortion could change by you giving me a personal view of yours, and I feel the same way, and my opinion will change.
Okay. No, but the opinion on math isn't changing. It's just math is getting more complex as we are able to measure more complex things.
Because we're making it more complex for ourselves.
Yeah, so we can understand more complex things.
I don't know, man.
That's the way I see it.
I know. I see where you're coming from.
We noticed. So take exponents. So 2 to the power of 2.
Yeah.
Which is 2 times 2.
4.
Right. So what we did is we saw something and we were like, oh shit, it doubled. Oh shit, it doubled again. well, how do I show that in math? You know what I mean? Like, how would I explain that this thing just keeps doubling?
Yeah.
Not that we're adding the same number each time, but it just keeps doubling. Well, let's make up this thing called exponents in order to explain what I'm seeing here. And then square roots. This thing keeps getting cut in half each time. It got cut in half 4 times. How do I explain to them that it got cut in half 4 times? I can't just do the math every time and then add it. We need a way to explain that it's getting cut in half this many times.
Made from dude, I bet you Lance Corporal invented math. For sure, dude. He's like, I want to cut the corner so hard and just call.
Exactly.
I mean, that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
I've never thought about it that way. There's probably going to be some dude watching this like, this dude's a fucking idiot. And then he's like, he's trying to explain it to him, but this guy's just not getting it.
No, but I mean, that's why, like, when they keep changing things, it's just trying to explain what we're seeing, because as we figure out new ways to use math to observe things, we now need to find new ways to explain what we're seeing, so we have to come up with new math so that way we can observe it even more, and we're just slowly peeling back the layers of the universe like an onion. We're still very, very shallow. We have hardly any understanding of what's going on the rock.
Yeah.
That is a speck on a piece of dirt on the earth.
Dude, I mean, it's true. I mean, we don't even know about our oceans as much as we know about space.
Yeah.
Like, I think we should more because I'm pretty sure if we focus on, like, because there's still land, like in Amazon that's in Africa, and it's like 70,000 nautical miles of untapped land.
Yeah.
And, like, when people say, like, they see, like Loch Ness Monster, I believe it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't look at anything and be like, not possible.
Yeah.
Because if there was a meter that showed percent exploration of the Earth, we're realistically probably about like 50%.
Yeah. Like the deepest oceans that we haven't touched.
I mean, I wouldn't even say that. We're probably at like 5.
Wow.
We're really only the crust deep on what we've touched.
Oh,
There's
you're talking
still
about drilling and
all
stuff.
the way to the core of the Earth. Nobody knows what's in the middle of the Earth.
Well, so apparently there was a German scientist group that actually started drilling towards the center of the Earth.
Oh.
Because that was back whenever they thought you could drill halfway through and you'd end up in China.
Yeah, well,
And-
global warming. Thanks, Germans.
Yeah, because they drilled into the heart of Earth.
Yeah, they're over here freaking bringing back into the surface.
But they said they heard screams. This was back in like early 2000s, and I heard about this story. They were drilling and they heard screams of people while they were like close to the center before they started shit started melting, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like where it got real hot, but they were hearing screams at the center of the Earth towards it. I think that's pretty crazy.
That is pretty crazy. It's true.
Yeah, if it's true. But I mean, I could buy it. Me being a religious person,
Yeah.
I would definitely see why hell would be on Earth, because it's a sinful planet. It's going to get destroyed anyways. Why not put the center of like where everyone's supposed to go for messing up? Why not put them in the center of the sinful place?
Oh no. See, I'm more cynical than that. If I had to create hell, I would put it on Earth so that way you'd be forced to watch everything happening above and not being able to do anything about it. So like you're gone, but everything you care about, you still have to watch and know that you're never going to be able to interact with it again.
Ooh.
Like you're stuck here. You don't get transported to a hell somewhere else where all you're focusing about is your problems and what's happening to you. You're still here, and not only are you forced to watch everything that you lost, you're getting tortured at the same time.
Golly, dude. That'd be crazy. Like you're just sitting there like watching, like you want a TV or like a
Because
window.
I mean, think about it. From a religious point of view, when you think of what heaven's going to be like, everybody always says, "Oh, they're watching. They're looking down on us. They're
That's
watching
not true.
us."
People that say that do not read the Bible at all.
But
Because that's definitely not
what
a thing.
everybody believes is that Grammy's looking down on us. She's watching us. She's happy up there. She's keeping an eye on us.
So-
Things like that.
So,
Ooh, educate me.
yeah, that's wrong because it says. I mean, it says in the Bible that whenever you go into heaven, that you will not be bothered by past life things, and you're just gonna be worried about the now. There's no looking back at it, like saying, "Oh no, I really wish they're doing okay." Like you're living in paradise. You're focusing on paradise. You're focused on like glorifying God. Like you do not look back. I think it says like you go in as a new soul almost. Like no one's gonna know anybody. Like when you go there and like if you're married, you're no longer married. You get up there, but you know everybody, and you love everyone. And everyone's like connected in like some way. I don't know. I have to reread stuff to get caught up on like all that other stuff because I've been really focusing on the bad parts that no one really likes to talk about.
Which is good. It's always good to get the full spectrum, not
Yeah.
focus and nitpick. You know, really get an idea of what all is entitled, because I mean you're making not only a lifelong commitment, but
Yeah. I mean, it's like
eternity long
like
commitment.
who am I to say like Joe Schmo? Because like if his religion's not right, it's literally a gambling game,
It really
and
is.
everyone runs off of blind faith. I mean,
But that's the point of it.
yeah, I mean, because I'm all for it. Because I mean, he's God. Like what I believe, God said that He wants people to be free willed, and you know, it's hit or miss. Like you have to be dedicated to like. I mean, I feel like people buy into it because they eternal life. Definitely, no one would buy into it if it was like eternal damnation. But I think that's the fear factor of things that get people. Oh man, I really don't want to do that. This doesn't sound as bad as that. I'm gonna do that.
But I mean, I don't know. That's where I kind of my quarrels with religion lie. Is I feel like a lot of people who are religious and go out and do things are not doing it with the right heart, if that makes sense.
So, I agree
That
because
they're only doing that to avoid damnation. They're not doing it in order to help their fellow man.
I was
not everybody.
yeah no I understand what you're saying because after reading Paradise Lost, I was sitting there and I actually started like thinking about it because it's a biblical fiction. It's about what John Milton thinks happened in between the time of the creation of Lucifer and to whenever he got sent back and him going to the Garden of Eden. And I mean I'd buy it for $1, to be honest, like how he presents it, because I mean it seems like it'd be pretty smart. Like he says that he was up there, he saw like how he was glorified by God, saying that you were the hymn maker for me, you will write all the joyous songs that everyone will sing, and he saw that he could be better, and told everyone else that we don't have to stay like this, we can do this. And then it's a hard book to read. It's easier to listen to. I listen on an audiobook because it definitely talks like King James version of the Bible, like thee, thy, and all this other stuff. But I mean, I was like talking about like I was like, why did God screw over the devil from the get-go? Like if he's all knowing. And
But you were also saying earlier today that he is not.
no, I'm saying that.
Well, not that he's not, but it doesn't say
Yeah.
specifically in the Bible anywhere that he is all-knowing.
Yeah, I mean, there might be somewhere that it is that implies it, but I mean, I feel like we give all these things to God, and when I bring this conversation up to other Christians, they immediately just think that it's blasphemous. I don't know, I can't hear this and whatnot. I'm like, no, I'm gonna believe God either way. Like if he's a straight savage and he wanted to make an example out of Lucifer, and that's why he did it, all for it. Because I mean, I've read some stuff where God was just like kept it 100, like especially like there's a book Job. Devil talks to God. He's like, hey, I'll mess with your boy. He's like, yeah, you can do whatever you want to him. And he's like, but just don't kill him. And he's like, I'm going to show you he's going to deter away from you. And Job was a huge follower. And so Satan took away his lands, took away his wives, took away his his money, everything, stripped him of everything, covered in boils from the soles of his feet to the top of his head. And Job was like, God, why would you let this happen? And then he started questioning God. And God's like, who are you to question me, son? He's like, were you there when Earth got created? And he's like, oh crap, I got myself into this one. He's like, did you fish out the Leviathan? Did you do all this? And he's like, no, he's like, recognize, son, recognize, respect it. I mean, like, so someone gave me an explanation whenever I asked about like why did he do this, and I was like, it makes sense. Like, why? Because you do something and it's justified in your mind. Why should it be justified in mine?
Right.
Unless it's directly affecting you. Like if we're together, if like we're roommates or whatever, and you want to take the rent, like say you're in charge of rent, and you want to spend it on an investment, but that's the rent for both of us, so that should be explained. I should know why you're doing what with the rent money, what you're doing with. But if I'm in Oklahoma and you're here and you want to do an investment and you justify it to yourself, and you're the only person that's being affected by it, do it, dude.
But I don't get how this relates to old boy and God.
Man, My memory's really bad. I think it got really destroyed through all the years of drinking, to be honest.
Probably.
No, it's like me wondering why Lucifer got, screwed from the get-go.
Right.
Like, it's either God is not all good or he's not all knowing. Because if he was all knowing, that means he did it on purpose. If he's not all knowing, then it happened. That means angels have free will and it just happened. And, it went that course. And then he's like, you know what? That's not going to happen again. We're not doing this. He's like, you know what? No more. And then, you're here. We're separating you guys. And because it says in Revelations that sin will never enter heaven again. Again, implying the fact that it was there once before.
Right.
That once before was Lucifer, whenever he rose up with a third of the angels and decided to go against them. And I always was taught that, they were made to serve God, but doing that shows they have morals. Or not morals,
free will.
Free will, thank you. And so, him doing that, I was like, so it's either he was going to know was going to happen, which, he set him up from the get-go, or he's just not all good, set him up for failure on purpose, and, did that. Either way.
Or he's not all-knowing.
Yeah, or he's not all-knowing, and it just happened.
And he gave them free will, expecting that they would follow him and love him.
But this one decided to not to.
Right.
One of the three named ones.
Right.
And, excuse me.
One of the three took a third.
Ooh.
Loose writing there. Come on, guys. I'm just kidding.
But I mean, like, that's like because I introduced this question to my mom when I first thought about it, and I was like, don't get me wrong, he doesn't have to be all known for me to think he's not God. He doesn't have to be all good. Like, I'm all for it. I'm all for shady stuff. I mean, probably not the person I'm worshiping. He probably should, be the better end of good. But I mean, that also goes into like what I started thinking after that. Like, after all, I started thinking about that, and that was the answer. I was like, morals is just, a coin toss as well. Morals
really
is opinions. Who's to say? That's what like goes back to like how you can do a society and tell them that this is all good, and you can change how everyone views their morals.
Yeah, because I mean, with very, very, very few exceptions, someone somewhere can morally justify almost any action.
Yeah, if you say it's because I mean a lot of things get slipped by because you base it off your religious preference. I mean, that's how, like, beards and stuff are now in the military because it's based off of religious preference.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just people manipulating the system.
Well, no, but it's also then, like, I mean, it has nothing to do with morals, though, but I mean, it's something like that.
Well,
they can say that.
The only thing that I like about religion, about organized religion, well, there's two things. One, community. The sense of community, a sense of belonging to something, a sense of giving and receiving and working together in harmony with your fellow man. That, and then two, a baseline for morals. Your 10 Commandments, or you're shoved down your throat as a kid, and then every religion has their own form of that. Yeah. If not,
you got like
the 10 Commandments. Yeah. Because I mean, even
I think Muslims have like the Jews have like the 12 pillars. I think
well, that would be Old Testament, wouldn't it? So that would still be Jews.
Yeah, I think Jews have
10
like
Commandments.
Yeah, I think they have their 12 pillars, and then I think Islam has like something. I don't know. Maybe they have the pillars.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Jews and Christians, the only thing they're separated by is Christ.
Yeah, Jews don't think that Christ ever came.
They don't believe that Christ was the Messiah. They believe he was a false prophet.
Yeah,
and that they're still waiting on Jesus. Christians have Jesus, and the Catholics are like, well, Jesus is cool, but Mary did all the work.
Yeah, they're like, oh, she's divine.
But I mean, Jesus is cool, but Mary, she kind of like did all that stuff. So
she carried him into the world.
So we praise both, and the Christians are like, she was a vessel.
She was chosen because she was clean.
I will put her in my nativity scene, but that's it. That's all the credit you get, girl.
But whenever you said that people going out and doing stuff of their own, I was out there thinking it like they say that money's the root of all evil, but I think it's selfishness. I think selfishness is the root of all evil.
Yeah, no, selfishness is the root of all evil.
Because I mean that's the greed for money is that you want it more than someone else. And I brought it up to him too. I was like everything we do is based out of selfishness. I was like, no one is truly, like, in my eyes, my opinion.
Yeah, no one's truly selfless.
I was like, no one is truly. I was like, I was telling him about you, and I was like, this dude would get your shirt off your back. He would stop what he was doing to make sure you were taken care of and drive you home if you were like intoxicated or whatever. I was like, great dude, and I was like, completely
but if we
selfless.
were in an online match and you stood still, I'd shoot you in the head.
Exactly. I was like, but I mean, like, they're like, oh, so you're saying like what we do for the Lord is selfish? I was like, yeah, because you're doing it to better yourself in the eyes of the Lord.
Right.
And I was like, and then that's selfishness. I was like, but then again, if you look at it, selfishness is not bad. You have to look out for number one.
Right.
And so it's not always a bad thing, but people use selfishness in bad terms.
You can't say that selfishness is the root of all evil then, because...
No, that's what I'm saying, like how it, like, my opinion of it was changing.
And then it changed
because I would like ask these questions.
Logic. Yeah, because I mean, that's really what I feel like, is that a lot of religions, they're like, if I do, all I have to do is do this.
Yeah.
I have to do this. If everybody else wants to do this, then screw them. I'll either fight them or I'm just going to ignore them. You know what I mean? Everybody has to, well, not everybody, but a lot of people, maybe even just the minor majority, which is a freaking term these days.
Yeah.
The minor majority can't coexist with other people who don't agree with them. And that's the thing that drives me nuts.
That's liberals and conservatives nowadays. Like hardcore people to their like political views.
Far lefts, far rights. Just far gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everybody in the middle is middle-minded people that can understand
libertarians.
Everybody else's point of view. They can kind of... they're very empathetic people in the middle. It's when you're not empathetic that sends people to the sides. And I feel like empathy is the only thing that separates left, right, and middle. Because honestly, it shouldn't be left, right, middle. It should be middle, left, and right. Is the way I see things.
Yeah.
Because if you're too far on either side,
you should be tossed to like the side with the extremists.
You're not empathetic. You're less humane than me.
Yeah, you're focusing more. Like that's what I feel like. Every person now is just I don't feel like they're focusing on the right things. They're not focusing on
nobody's focusing.
They focus on whatever their political agenda is. Like they will throw everything morality out the window just to make sure their political agenda is achieved.
Yeah.
But I mean, about the median thing and whatnot, that's how we became friends.
It really is.
Because I mean, I remember coming up to you during we were at room entry, and I don't know why. Like I just sat at the table. And I remember you came up to us during the range, and I felt real bad that you showed up as soon as we left.
I sat out there and contemplated life for a couple minutes.
I felt pretty bad, dude, because I was like, I know how it is to be the person that, because you didn't show up till a little bit later.
Yeah,
and
everybody's already dealing with so much shit by the time I got there, and I was like, alright, new place, new me, I'm going to make some friends, I'm not going to focus on the past, I'm doing great. I'm first attempts on everything. I'm doing good. Let me go talk to these other guys that seem good, got their head on straight, and give a shit.
Yeah, and then we're just like, yeah, dude, we're done. See you later.
Yeah, we're out here dry firing. I'm like, oh, cool. I was just get some tips.
Yeah, dude, I felt like, because we were like walking away, and I was like, man, I feel kind of bad. And then like I didn't know if you got a tent or not, but then it was like a tent. I didn't know if you got because I know.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know if you got your tent. Because I know that we had all double up. Some of us did. And I know I thought you slept at the bleachers.
No.
I was like, dang, that really sucks. Like, that's what went through my mind that next morning. I was like, did this man sleep outside? I was like, it rained.
Yeah. No. Root was kind enough to, which was so. It was just dumb. Like just the whole planning. Because that was when Peterson was like, does anybody have room in their tent? Anybody?
Yeah.
Like, dude, I literally need somewhere to sleep. This is literally like on your list of priorities. It's up there. Dude.
Yeah, you should be going to like each tent, unzipping
it.
One. Okay,
you got room? All right.
There. Done.
Should have took 3 seconds. Instead, he had to wait around, and then Root's like, fine.
Like you open your mouth from the get-go.
The third biggest guy in the.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I understand his reasoning. It's like, dude, I need this space. There are other people, smaller people, that there'd be more room for both of them in there. I literally, my shoulders, like, he and I were like shoulder to shoulder in that thing, sleeping. I'm like, this is dumb. There are other skinny dudes in the squad that I could be racked up with right now.
Like, I had Gillette, because I didn't have one of the poles in my tent set.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, me and Gillette became real good friends that night because we got roomed up. Yeah. And like after that, dude, like we were always talking to each other and whatnot. But I mean, it was that room entry. I just sat down and I was just like, "Hey, Bert, what you believe in?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm agnostic." I was like, "Oh, like a Christian, just without commitmentship issues." I was like, "That's what's up." And then he's like, I don't know why it was a thing. I mean, I might be remembering it wrong.
I mean, I don't use words like agnostic, but I pretty much probably explained what you.
Yeah, I might just yeah.
But I know that. What's his name? Somebody else was there with us.
Greg?
Huh?
Greg?
No, Greg
Chapman. Page.
Not Chapman. Not Page. Who's in Third Squad?
Fields.
Yes, Fields was there with us when we were talking about that too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Makes sense. But I'm.
Because I believe Fields was Christian too, wasn't he? He was
Yeah.
like very religious.
We've talked about this time like so many times, and I keep always forgetting that like that wasn't the part like we started hanging out. It was like after Haiti, and I think I saw you doing something in your room or something, and I think it was Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned that I played Destiny. You're like, "Oh, we play Destiny." And I was like, "Oh, who's we?" You're like, "Oh, me and the homies."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh man, dude!" Like I was like, "That'd be dope. Like we should do like you're like, let's do clan stuff. We could play together." Yeah. Yeah, dude. And then Destiny 2, even though like we all turned our backs on that really crappy game and went about our ways.
Only downloaded it like 7 or 8 times
Afterwards.
Yeah, talk about that. Yeah. No, and then I believe it was in Haiti, honestly, because I know we weren't like really close because when you and Root got in each other's shit and Root slapped the shit out of you, which I thought Benny slapped the shit out of you.
That was a wild thing. Like he hit me, and I just kind of was like, "Did he just hit me?" Like it wasn't like a rock. Like it didn't rock me or anything. I was just kind of like, "This man actually hit me." And I was like, "Hold up!" And I stood up, and then they're like, "No, no!" And I was like, "No, no, no!" I was like, "This man just slapped me."
I'm not gonna stand here or sit here and let him keep slapping.
They're like, "Do you like going on missions?" And I was like, "Yeah, I like going on missions." Like, "Do you like drinking?" I was like, "Well, yeah, I like drinking." I was like, "I'm not messed up though."
I didn't just slap somebody.
Yeah.
I just got slapped. I just want to stand up so next time I can block it.
Yeah, I was like, I just want a heads up. And I was mad because King was back there. He didn't see anything. I was like, "You're supposed to have my 6, my dude," and you completely neglected that.
Oh, he was watching me play PUBG. But yeah, because I remember that, and I wasn't like, I know I went and checked on you afterwards, but like I wasn't like, freaking Superman punching Root from across the room. I'm not like today where I'd be like over there like, "Fight me." You'd be like, "No, Bertles." And then he'd swing, and I would like do some weird ninja move and end up behind him.
The power of God and anime on my side.
Dumb stuff. But yeah, and then from there, yeah, I think it was Destiny 2. But I know like we were still like, I think we were still friends. Like we were building a friendship there, dude. For sure. Because I remember that's when we grappled. Yeah. You're like, "I'm sorry, friend." You just picked me up and dragged me out.
Yeah, dude. Because I mean, I was like, you're just. Because I heard the stories from like what Miles said. Because every time we would go out, you always pick up Miles. Because y'all were roommates. And I was like, dude, that's crazy that he's willing to stop what he's doing to come pick up someone that's being belligerent and whatnot. I was like, I wouldn't do that, honestly.
We didn't pick him up.
Like whenever we were somewhere and he said that he had you coming to pick him up.
Oh yeah. He'd be like, "Hey man, I'm going out." So I was like, "Whoa, hey, if you get drunk and you need a ride, let me know."
And I was like, I was sitting there one day.
Like legit, he called me and I'm like, "All right, I'm on my way."
And I was sitting there one day in your room whenever he was talking about it. He's like, "Hey, if I call you, yeah, I'll show up." And I was like, he's about to pause everything he's doing. I just took it as like a big thing. I was like, I mess with that.
Right.
I was like, that's a sign of a homie.
Yeah. Man.
And then like after that, like it was like I felt like I was in high school again. Right. Like had the high school I wanted, like hanging out like with the boys, gaming until like the sun comes back up. I mean, we were doing that with like Battlefield 1 that we were talking about the other day.
Those are the best.
And then like the power went out. We went to that internet cafe.
Yes.
That was fun, dude.
That was a lot of fun.
Like that weekend was pretty shitty, but I was all for it.
We made the most of it.
Oh yeah, we went to the hotel and we gamed at a hotel for the Wi-Fi.
just for the Wi-Fi, the power, and a hot shower.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh.
We got a hotel room. Just you and me.
Yeah.
Just you and me, just so we could do that.
And that's where I broke up with my ex-fiance. You were gaming and like you were sitting there and then, like you passed out because you weren't trying to be rude. And like I look over and I just see you like all sleeping and whatnot. I was like, this is what it looks like from your end. I was like, he's probably seen me in this position a lot.
Yes, but I always took care of you. Although my favorite was when Miles became a deck commander, and then they picked up staff, and so they moved him out, and they didn't move anybody back in my room. So I was like, this rack's going up
dude.
here, and I had all that room in there, and I'm like all sliding around in my chair, like, woo!
I remember that.
That was before they moved us into the new barracks, and you and I were roommates for a whopping like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and
they
then
were like,
you left to Kosovo,
yeah.
and then that's when they decided to flop rooms again.
Yeah, and I came back, and King was my roommate, and I was like, great. But he actually turned out to be a really good roommate, so
Yeah.
I was like, sweet. But I was not happy. I was like, dude, like, I don't know King, and he's bigger than me, and I don't know how long it would take Hamilton to get here to save me.
And he's black.
No,
I'm just kidding.
But he was chill. He liked to play video games. He liked anime. I was like, this is dope.
Yeah, dude, I liked whenever we decided to be roommates, we went out and got like all of our stuff.
Right.
I did that once with another dude. Like we designed our bathroom. Like we spent $200 on the bathroom alone. But like we bought like guest towels, like ones that are just looks for our room inspection, and we had like everything was color coded. It looked real nice. We had blackout curtains over the thing.
Fuck yeah.
And our room, like it looked nice. And then like we went and got all of our stuff. And then I remember that next morning I woke up, watched an animal documentary, and I ate Cocoa Pebbles, you ate Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
It was a good day. It was a good weekends, dude. I miss those weekends.
I do too. Those are some of the greatest weekends ever, man. Just you and me sitting there, fanning the window, sweating our balls off, playing video games, trying everything we can not to leave the fucking room.
Yeah.
Like I picked up vaping because I was tired of walking outside.
I remember that. That was so funny. Like, dude, like those times sucked during that moment.
Yeah.
But like looking back at it, I was like, man, I enjoyed Wailing Hall.
All I had to worry about was there was no air conditioning, there was no Wi-Fi, or whatever staff sergeant was yelling at us out. That was all I cared about. I had no other worries in the world.
Yeah.
And relative to all the crazy shit that's going on now, I'm like, it's fucking nothing. And those are like considerably, well, actually my worst time in the Marine Corps would be my first year at Post. It's definitely my worst year in the Marine Corps.
Well, if we base it off of what you hated the most about, it was probably my first year in the fleet. I was definitely, like, I was just salty about, like, how things were being done. But, like, back for me personally, like, detrimental to, like, my future was definitely my first year at Post.
Yeah, no, my first year at Post, like, that's definitely where I hit the lowest. Like, I didn't have any type of leadership, no friends, nothing. It was just me in a foreign country, all by myself, looking out for myself, and I have no fucking clue what's going on. And, like, because when I got to Post, I was lucky. I was so fucking lucky when I got to my first duty station. So fucking lucky. Dude, I show up, my corporal messages me. He's like, hey, I meet everybody. You know, I check in, all that good stuff. Everything goes fine. And then I show up. It's like the end of the day, whatever. And my corporal messages you, like, hey, it's your first night here. Don't spend it sitting in your barracks. It's a Friday. Come over to my place. We're having some drinks. We're eating some food. Come meet some of the guys at the shop.
Nice.
And I was like, all right. And so I show up, and, you know, I'm like 20 at the time.
Yeah.
Like, what's up? He's like, yeah, beer's over there. Food's over there. I'm like, is this a test? He's like, no, it's not a fucking test, Bert. Get a fucking beer. I was like, are you
It's a good question to ask. Some people roll like that.
I was like, are you sure? Like, I don't want to get you in trouble. He's like, I'm not going to get in fucking trouble. Nobody here's going to snitch on me. Like, get yourself a drink. Go ahead. It's okay. You know, because I'm like, boot!
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, my first day in the fleet, and my corporal was giving me the option to get a drink if I want one. And of course I want one. Stressful fucking day.
Yeah.
I just drove all the way from Ohio to freaking North Carolina. Because I stopped by to grab my POV after
Yeah.
MCT. And then just...
Yeah, I remember you telling me about, like, you driving through base over there.
Yeah, lost in the
Yeah.
fucking sauce trying to find my unit, which is all the way back in the fucking woods behind the flight line. So stupid. And I finally found it, and then I checked in just for because I didn't see them until my second night. So my first night, I'm at the OOD, And the OOD, again, dopest freaking staff sergeant I ever met. Coolest dude ever. Like, he... Like... Cause I don't think I had my car. No, I had my car, but we just left it at fucking headquarters. Because he was like, yeah, we'll take care of you. Alright, you have no idea where the fuck you're going. Don't worry about driving. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. So I met with him. I hopped in his van. He was like, hey, do you mind if we stop by my house real quick? I want to grab some dinner because I'm on duty and I don't feel like ordering anything. It costs money. I was like, yeah. It's fine stuff, sorry. Like, what am I going to tell you? No?
He's like, oh man, he told me.
So he like stops and he like goes inside and he comes back out with a brown paper bag and he hands it to me. He's like, here's some food for you. My wife didn't want you to be hungry. There's also a surprise in there for you. And I was like, what? And I open it up. There's a fucking Corona in there.
What?
What?
No.
And he was like, you didn't get it from me. And like, we just kept on going. So he goes to the barracks and he's like, hey, I need a room. We got a new guy. I just need a room for tonight. I don't care about getting him anything permanent. Just get him room, linen. That's all I fucking care about. And he's like, oh, I don't know if I got anything. He's like, all right, never mind, fuck it. And he like goes out to his van and grabs his room key for the barracks. Because he has his own room key still, for whatever reason. He's like, alright, you can sleep in my room. I was like, what? Like, don't you have a roommate? He's like, hey, he lives out in town. And so, we go up there. I stay the night in his room, and then he never got the key back from me or nothing. So I was like, I've had that key forever. Because he was like, yeah. He's like, I checked out, but nobody's living in this room, and I still have the key. Here you go.
Wow.
So he had me stay there, and then the next day that's when I went and I met Reed and everybody else. And Reed's still a good friend to this day, and I need to talk to him some more, but he lives in Texas. And he married Jessica, and they both met at Max 2Com there in Cherry Point and got married. So there was 2 Corporal Baggetts in my shop because she took his last name. And they were both corporals. So there was male Corporal Baggett and female Corporal Baggett, and they were both great. Those 2 cracked me up. Like, if there was ever, like, polar opposites meeting a balance of yin and yang in a couple, because he's very chill, mellow, Texas guy, very calm, collective, and she's California, strawberry blonde, probably redhead, too. I can't remember. I think she has red hair, but she's just eccentric, over the top, funny, like, edgy with her humor and stuff like that.
Reed,
I watched her.
Your wife sounds hot.
I watched her throw a Snickers bar at him one morning because he and I were still in her living room playing video games after a weekend bender. And like, dude, the dude was like over the top, amazing, greatest guy. Like, I swear. So there was another guy that was at the shop with us, and I was living in a barracks room by myself because the other guy was living out in town with his girlfriend. So I was stuck in my barracks room by myself. And I was like, this sucks. And so. One of the other guys, Hill, he was like, hey, I have a spare room in my house, me and my wife. You want to just come stay here instead of staying in the barracks? I was like, fuck yeah. So I kept my room pristine. There was like nothing in it. I would literally show up for field day at dust, and I'd fucking leave, and I'd pass field day every day.
God,
and I just kept my shit there, like my bulk shit, and then I just stayed over there. So Geyer and I would show up. We would dust together for like 5 minutes. We would sit on our phones and wait for them to come around, check our rooms, and then I'd go home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was stupid. Well, then Reed got word that some shit was about to go down with Hill and a bunch of other guys in the shop because they were all smoking spice. And he's like, I know Bert has nothing to do with it.
I remember you telling me this story.
He's like, Bert would not do that. I know he doesn't do that. Bert has no idea what's going on. He's like, don't come at Bert. Bert's fine. And then he hit me up and said, hey, I know that you're, like, paying Hill rent. He's like, but my wife's about to go on a deployment. We're going to have plenty of money, and I'm going to be bored. We have a spare room. He's like, come live with me for free.
Nice.
I was like, are you sure, dude? Like, I can give you something. He's like, nah, cool. Don't worry about it. I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. He's like, and I'm paying for groceries too because I'm getting paid for that too. But my wife's on deployment. But I'm not getting any less money for groceries.
Yeah.
So the Marine Corps is already paying for your food too. And I'm like, are you sure, dude?
Dang, dude. He
and
is
so
up.
he and I, for her entire 6-month deployment, just did nothing but sit in the living room and play video games together every day after work. Great. And he and I, like, bestest friends. And he had a dog, Rebel. And
Aww.
big droopy ears, like a tall bloodhound German Shepherd mix. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He's a rescue. He's very skittish, scared of everything, but he's a cute little cutie. Loved to cuddle. He passed away not too long ago. I'm
Oh
sorry
man,
about that.
everything dies.
I know.
What's dead may never die though.
That is true.
Yeah.
Good old rebel. But yeah, I mean, so my fleet experience was great. Then after that, unfortunately, Reed EAS'd because he didn't want to take care of me anymore. So I started taking care of myself. And at the same time, our staff sergeant got moved over to be the S3 staff sergeant. That's training, right? S3?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got moved over to be S3 because he was a double red tab black belt. And so he was...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's how I got my green belt. And that's when I stopped. I got my green belt as a corporal, and then I just didn't do big map the rest of the time in the Marine Corps. So, since we're... Let me digress. I got my gray belt at MOS school because I was there for 11 months. Forever. So they pretty much forced us to get our gray belts before we hit the fleet. Because they're like, you're going to need this to pick up corporal. And I'm like, okay. So then he just did like a couple weeks and we were on to the green belt course, and then he tried to convince me to do the instructor course, and I said, no, I've helped you during the instructor course and I don't want fuck all to do with that. And it wouldn't count because there's a part at the end where you have to carry these ammo cans all the way through all this bullshit, through the swamps, all kinds of crazy shit. He went nuts with it. He freaking checked out a freaking flatbed. And he checked out a flatbed just so I could pull up, get everybody in the back, pull 50 feet forward and tell everybody to get the fuck out. And they continued on their training. Like, this is how intense he got with his freaking McMap instructor course.
Dude, that would mentally mess me up.
Yeah, dude, like, these guys are like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Dude's like, oh, yes, it's so fucking done. And you got the one guy's like, I don't fucking believe it. I don't fucking believe it.
Yeah.
And I stop and I turn and look at him like, I'm sorry, guys. And they're like, no. I was like, get the fuck out. They're like, no. And they're like, fuck you. Fuck you. I'm like, just doing what I'm told, man. Yeah. They're like, fuck
Have
you,
fun.
Lance Corporal. I'm like, have a good one, Corporal.
Love you too.
But the fucked up part is whenever they quit, he would open up that ammo can, and in that ammo can was their belt. And he would take it out right in front of them.
Dang, dude.
So you're carrying your McMap belt with your instructor tab all the way through the course, and you don't find out until you get to the end.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'd be so mad, but as soon as he did that, I'd be like, that's what's up, dude. I'm definitely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm coming back.
Yeah, dude.
I'm coming back. But the course only happened like once every 6 months. So like the chances of you catching... He wanted me to go on that course so bad because he wanted to torture the shit out of me because all I did was smoke cigarettes all day and he could never find me. But I was also like the only guy who learned how to use GCSS. So I'm sure I've explained that to you like 100 times.
Yeah.
And so then when he moved to S3, they were like, well, we need somebody to run maintenance. Bert's know how to use GCSS. Put him in charge. I'm like,
Yeah.
and the first thing I did is I moved all the desks so no one can see what's on our computers, and they walked in our office so we could all just sit there and watch YouTube videos all day. They're like maximum skate. We would just sit there, we'd watch YouTube videos all day, because I mean, we're a second echelon shop, so unless somebody in the back, like unless somebody was like hazing one of their one of their lance corporals and forcing them to SL3 a whole bunch of shit, and then they find out that it's missing something and they want me to order it, because apparently I was ordering too. Because we're maintenance, this is what's so annoying. Rather than teaching the operators how to use GCSS and order their own SL3, they would just make me do it because I already knew how to use GCSS. And I'm like, this is stupid because you guys can do this. I see what you do on a day-to-day basis. You do nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I am over here learning how to string guitars and do all kinds of shit on YouTube. You do nothing all day. Alright, I smoke a pack of cigarettes a day. That's a lot of fucking work. You do nothing. And the best part is all of the corporal, well, not all of them, but a majority of the people in the back were pregnant females. And
shocker.
Yeah, I know. And I was just like, what are we even doing here? Because first of all, we're a communications shop. A ground communication shop. Attached to air control squadron. So we have green gear, for a squadron that's just supposed to scan the air and direct aircraft. So we didn't do fuck all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had like a handful of Humvees, and I'd have to make sure that the radios worked in them, but the radios had to stay in the shop, so I had to lug them all the way over to Motor Duh and freaking hook them all up, make sure everything worked, make sure everything's SL3'd, and then we didn't realize until I got there that no one had been SL3ing these Humvees, and half of them didn't have any of the shit actually hooked up. It was all still in bags, so none of the comm equipment was hooked up to it at all. No wires ran, no power ran, nothing. No antennas hooked up, nothing. There was nothing hooked up to half the Humvees. And so I got to spend an entire week going out to Motor T to hook up, to install radios in a Humvee. Zero training in that. So I'm over here reading the manual and I'm like, fuck it. I need to get power here, I need to get a signal there. And I just start drilling holes in a Humvee.
Oh my gosh.
Worked. It's a Humvee.
I can see you slapping on a bandana looking like an old Vietnam type.
Oh yeah, dude. Blouse is off.
Yeah. Just like wearing, like he's wearing outdated camo. Like, what's he doing? Don't bother him. He's really doing work.
Yeah.
Sitting there with a cigarette and like little old headphones.
Yeah. It's literally me. I had 2 earbuds in, a cigarette going. I'm underneath this Humvee like I'm Motor Duh. And I'm like, this is stupid. This is so stupid. I am a repairman. I am not an installer. These fucks over here should be doing it.
Dude, I hated my fleet experience because I experienced it whenever I was, because I've been trying to get in the reserves just in case anything happens. I want my foot in the door. And like I asked him, because I'm going to a recon, a fourth recon battalion, and it's in San Antonio, Texas. But I got a call from the captain there. I was talking to him, and I was like, "So, what does Intel do for drill?" Because I was like, "This is my prior MOS. That's where I'll be going back as." And because I was trying to get artillery or something else, but I have to go through MOS school, and these old knees ain't gonna be making through, you know.
Right.
And so, like he told me, he's like, "Yeah, you do this and this," because when I was in the fleet, we didn't do anything.
Right.
Like, I mean, I briefed about, pilots doing stuff in Operation Air Resolve. But I mean, aside from that, our day-to-day was, we didn't do anything, but God forbid that's happening. So our captain, he would come out and he'd be like, "All right, I want daily briefs. And each person's going to do them. We're also going to do weekly briefs. And we're also going to do hot topics at the very end of the day." Busy work. And it's not like, I understand certain busy work, like, go clean out the cabinets, needs to be, like, refiled or whatever.
Right.
That type of busy work's understandable. But I mean, we're doing stuff that had nothing to do with anything. He's like, he's keeping your skills sharp and keen. He'd go to training, come back, and try to make us do all the stuff that he learned. And I was like, no, that's for you to know. This has nothing to do for me. All I have to do is learn, all I need to do is be able to go in front of an audience and show them what's going on and be able to articulate what's going on. And, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I know for sure it's a huge difference. 'Cause I have a buddy that, she was on, I think she was on a MU, and she did it on a MU and said it's completely different than what we learned in the schoolhouse, even what I experienced. I have guys that went to Iraq and did it, and they said it's completely different too. So, I mean, I just drew the short end of the stick when it came to MOSs, but I felt really good with the fact that I did MSG, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got to do some things that people spend their entire lives never achieving. You know what I mean?
We met the president, or vice president, and the Secretary of States.
The last two.
Yeah. And, like, no, like, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
If I never done that, and somebody came up to me, and we were talking, and they came up to the subject of them experiencing that, like, dude, that's wicked.
Right.
Like, but I'd be talking to people about it, they're like, don't believe me, and then I'd be like, no, here's a picture, it's me, or it's me on Facebook with Vice President Pence.
Yeah, and then there's like,
yeah, and then that's cool. I was like, dude.
Look, I my whole thing is like, I get it. You may not like him as a person.
It's the vice president.
But exactly, it's the position that he holds and that he was holding at the time, and then me being important enough.
Yeah.
To be rubbing elbows with that person, like
if someone showed me a picture of them and Biden, I'd still be like, that was the vice president at that time. I want to know how you did that.
Yeah, like, dude, you met the vice president?
Yeah.
Because it's different. Like, if they were like, oh, yeah, here's a picture of me and Biden. Like, oh, he's vice president? Oh, no, he's campaigning. Well,
Yeah, I mean, that's...
a lot of people have a picture of that. But if you have a picture with him while he was vice president, he's a very busy motherfucker.
Yeah, his
And
exposure to, like, the populace is minuscule compared to when they're campaigning.
Yeah.
So getting a picture with them then is really easy.
Yeah.
But then, like, or like it just like the president, like I tried so hard to get on type 1, dude. I was trying. I had like 3 chances, and they were all snuck out from under me. I was just, oh man, dude. I was so. And then I heard a bunch of these guys like they get for their first missions of type 1.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, there when we were in freaking Korea.
Yeah.
The other
Leva.
squad was doing a type 1, and they even didn't get to see him, did they?
I don't think so.
Yeah. No, they didn't even get to see him. We got to see our type 3, but
Yeah.
they didn't get to see the type 1.
You're right.
So,
I do remember that, and I was like, man, that sucks.
Yeah, like that sucks because they were planning on like getting us over there just so we could
Yeah.
get a type 1 meet and greet, but no.
I really would like, cause I mean, he only went to like the nice places.
Yeah.
Like when Pence went to New Guinea, I was like, why would you come here, man? But they went there because like the general of the New Guinean Navy, or I think it was like admiral or whatever that position was. It was in charge of their navy, and they were talking about stuff like that, and that's why he was over there. And, like the highest officials of New Guinea was there. I mean, I've also met ambassadors. I've met presidents of countries.
Yep.
No one cares.
Yeah, nobody cares.
I was like, go. What's the last president you met? From where? Tell me how many countries you've been to. And then they'd tell me like, oh yeah, we went to Jamaica. We went to France. We did all this on the spring trip. And I was like, shut up. Doesn't count. Doesn't count. Shut up.
Right. But what did you do there? That's my whole thing. Is like, what did you do there? Like, anybody can go somewhere.
I feel like that, yeah, but I feel like that point, it just gets to like a whose life was worse kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like, oh, I was there doing this. Okay, did you go out and experience this? No, not really. Then, does it really count? Like, people, like, I always have this question for people is, do you count where you've been with the airports you've been in?
I do.
I do too, but some people are like, no, that doesn't count. You have to go out and be. I was like, okay, then if that's true, like how long do you have to be out for you to say that you've technically been somewhere? And they're like, oh,
stepped out to smoke in London. Does that mean I've been to London?
no, apparently not to some people. Some people
Because
say
they wouldn't. There was no smoking on the inside,
yeah.
so I had to like leave,
So some people
smoke,
say
and then come back into the airport and go back through security.
some people I've talked to, they said that they count leaving the airport as you being in that country. I say that as soon as you're on that soil,
Yeah.
you're in that country. I don't get to experience it, no, but you experience it sort of kind of within the airport.
Yeah, you get to experience it a little bit watered down. Not to mention the majority of the people in the airport are locals.
Yeah. And the
Coming
people that
and
work
going.
there, yeah.
Yeah, and the people that work there are definitely locals.
Yeah.
And so you're experiencing the culture. Granted, it is watered down, but you're still experiencing the culture. Therefore, I mean, I had a layover in Hong Kong, and I stopped by a ramen shop inside the airport.
Ooh.
It's fucking delicious.
Oh, I bet, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember being in Kenya, and I remember looking at Kenya, I was like, their airport was just like, it was better than Ethiopia. Ethiopia's airport was just horrible.
Whose airport was really shitty? It was Haiti.
Oh, yeah.
Haiti's airport, because I had to leave by myself.
Yeah, dude, I remember because your plane ticket got jacked up.
Yeah.
And then you had to stay an extra day, but you were completely cool with it because you're just going to game in the marine house.
Yeah, I was really cool with it until the marine driver just dropped me off at the airport and was like,
Oh, yeah, you didn't get expediter. Dude,
And I had some dude like literally walk up and drop his senile dad off right in front of me, just cut in line. Just put his dad right in front of me.
Sir?
And I was like, really?
Sir.
And he just like pointed and I was like,
Dude, like, it was funny being there because, I mean, you see everyone, like, nut to butt, everyone's elbow to elbow, and we missed our chance because our group got separated. So there's people up the front, and I saw it with Benny, and so I started yelling, like, these people speak English. I was like, hey, Benny, you forgot your inhaler. I was like, excuse me, he's got to get his inhaler. He needs this. He has real bad asthma. I was like, Benny! And I'm just, like, pushing through people. I was like, excuse me, inhaler, important, health. And I cut through this entire line to get to the front. Anyway, so like Peterson and Chapman were still way in the back, and then we were on the plane seated. 30 minutes later, I finally see them again. So I cut through 30 minutes of just absolute nonsense.
Yeah, it was stupid, but really sucks that you gotta leave.
Yeah, man. But who knows? If I fail this bounty hunter test, I'm definitely gonna be moving up here.
Well,
I
I
just
don't care what happens as long as you're happy.
yeah, man. I mean,
I'd like to see you more, but that's just me being selfish.
I want to see y'all more. I feel like I don't know. Like I was telling DJ today. Like I get that post leave. I don't know if it's anxiety or depression from like leaving a happy situation.
Right.
But like I tell people like how post leave feels is, you want that last couple minutes to be longer than it should be.
Mm-hmm.
You want to soak it in a little bit longer, because as soon as you go back, that it's gonna hit a little differently.
Yeah, it's back to the grind.
Yeah, but I'm going back, and I got a couple of days left. I mean, I'm gonna see my doggo, play with him, and then I'm gonna still have like a couple of days, but I'm gonna be still learning on how to do this next thing going on. But it sucks, man. Like, I really hate the timing that I had to do it too, because I really wish I could have came on a time where I got both days off rather than just one.
Yeah, but I mean,
And the homies.
Yeah, that too. But it's alright, man. You need to get on Xbox more though.
I am on Xbox a lot, every night.
Well, then I need to start like bugging the shit out of it.
You used to play stuff I don't play.
Yeah, I'm playing like Ark and.
Yeah, I see you guys on Ark. I thought about getting back to it. I'm just like, I can't. I feel like I've ever experienced it. It's not fun to me.
No, especially not the way that we're playing right now. We're just fucking around, honestly. Because we have a free server, so it's like, why not?
That's why I really liked playing Apex. I thought Apex was fun, but then I felt like it was getting a little bit too serious. And I was like, I don't want to be a part of this no more. I was like, this is ruining my enjoyment.
Yeah. That's why, like, I don't know. We should, I'm liking Battlefield 5 for now. I've never taken Battlefield 5 seriously.
Oh, no.
I'll get pissed off every now and then. But, I mean, like, the game is so big that I know that me, as myself, cannot hold up 31 people, so I don't take it that seriously.
Yeah.
Now, when it's Halo, and it's like, I only have to carry 3 other people, I take it more seriously, because if possible, I can carry a whole team of 3 people. And then Apex, like, I could definitely carry 2 people.
Seen it happen.
I can throw 2 people on my back and win a 1v3 all day. But
I feel like, that confidence is what usually ends up in situations. Like, I've seen you more time, or I've seen you pull out through some sticky situations that I could definitely not touch. Mm-hmm. But there's times where I'm like, oh man, he could have definitely saved the squad. We could have definitely pushed a little bit further.
Everybody makes bad judgments.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason I'm not a pro making thousands of dollars playing video games. That's because I only know how to play by myself. But we'll go for 3 more minutes.
Why? What's it at?
I'll tell you in 3 more minutes.
It's got to be at least 3 hours.
It will be 3 hours and 3 minutes.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah. It's also
1:30.
1:30.
Yeah, you gotta work.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Works fine.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well,
I only have one job tomorrow, and it's with Bryce and Bubby. We have all day to do it.
Oh, easy day.
No, it's not gonna be an easy day. There's a 70-foot dig involved, but and then running vent pipe and cutting holes in people's houses and all kinds of fun stuff.
Let's think of one last good funny story. Like best story.
Between just you and me?
Yeah.
Well,
Best memory you have.
I will give you. Oh, I have to pick, and then you're gonna do one.
Yeah, I'll pick one too.
All right, I have to say the. I don't know, man. Like, I would have to say. Like, you're talking about like best memory looking back on it, or best memory like from my point of view.
From your point of view.
My point of view,
yeah.
it'd have to be my my bar crawl, because it was you broing down with not only like one of my good friends, my best friends from childhood, but also my brother. Like that's when our friendship went from like best friend to now almost family, because that's what they were hanging out at my cousin with my brother and Ward, who I also consider pretty much a brother, and then now you, like that's you're getting introduced to the family, and you coexisting peacefully and flourishing with all of these people who I consider very close to me, near and dear, and that's when I was like, just clicked into place, and that's like, he's family now.
Dude, I definitely like.
Although Thanksgiving was a good one too.
That's mine though.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Mine's definitely Thanksgiving because I feel like that's what kickstarted it. Because I was telling Dominic today that I've never been, or no, I was telling Ward this. I've never been to anyone else's house for Thanksgiving.
Right.
And then like I've been asked by different people throughout the Marine Corps, like, oh yeah, I'm going to my parents' house, I'm going to my sister's house, I'm going to a friend's house. Everyone, or like the staff sergeants and gunnies saying like,
Oh, come to
come to my house. We have enough food, and I'm just, going to tell you about the Marine Corps order and how you're a shitbag.
How you didn't shave before you came to my house?
Yeah. Oh, and he's like, I'm just killing killer. But it was definitely prior to Thanksgiving because that was one I broke out of a shell that I put myself in, and I was like, I'm finally gonna do this. Break out of this comfort rather than sitting at my barracks room for a holiday. And so went there. Family was great. Your parents, your stepmom and dad opened up their arms and fantastic. They didn't care. Like, yep, have fun. Asking me, talking to me. Brother, same thing. He open arms.
Mm-hmm.
Ward the same way. I remember having a conversation full fledged like for an hour with him. Just me and him first day meeting.
Well,
and we kicked it off. And I was like, oh man, dude.
Yeah, that night because you guys were like hanging out in the driveway because I didn't know that Ward was gonna make it, but he was like, yeah, okay. And he ended up leaving early in his truck.
Yeah.
It was nice that he came out and you two like hit off. Look around, they're like best friends.
Yeah, dude. And then like whenever Harley came by for the very first time,
yeah,
and hit it off with her.
We went over to Mark and Trina's, and you guys stayed up. Who knows how long? I said fuck it, went to bed.
Oh, dude, we were up for like another couple hours, about 4 or so. I mean, not maybe that long. We were like 1 or 2, but we were playing beer pong, just talking. And then when was it? The time that I came up here. I was still in.
Mm-hmm.
And I met Bryce and Bubby and Travis for the first time.
Yep.
And Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I think the person that surprised me the most was definitely Travis.
Yeah, people get that a lot.
I went down to his basement. I saw he had a psychology degree.
Yep.
And I saw like he had all this going for him. I was like, dude, you're the same age as me. You got all this. They got a house, nice like man cave. Not like a makeshift man cave, but I mean, he actually had like some decorative stuff in there that cost money.
Right.
And I was like, how do you get all this? And I was like, you're married, right? And he's like, yeah, about to be, or whatever was the situation. And he's like, I was like, you got a psychology degree for kids? And he's like, yeah. I was like, what are you doing for work? Told him what he was doing. I was like, why? But then I figured out like who he was as a personality, and I decided I was like, that's understandable. You should definitely not be a child psychologist.
All right, well, I love ending podcasts on shaming or talking shit about Travis. So, thank you so much. Definitely the longest podcast to date.
Boom, boom, hitting records.
Right? You beat, I think Jeff had the record before. I'll have to look. But it's going to suck to see you go, but thankfully we got one more night to hang out and play video games before you have to pack it up and head off.
Yeah, man. I'm going to try and push that as far as I can until...
I'm going to try and get off
minute.
work as soon as I can. We have 3 guys there. We're probably all going to bust our ass and probably come over here and shoot the shit with you until you leave.
That's
honestly.
dope. I think I'm going to be leaving here around... the latest I'll leave is probably midnight.
Okay. Well, that's when I go to bed, so that works out.
Yeah, that's what I plan on doing. But
I might be able to get a full night's sleep one of these days.
yeah, thanks everyone for keep supporting this podcast. I mean, I know he's talked about it a lot while we were, growing as friends, and I'm glad to see him actually achieving it. I really want to start one soon too, dude.
Do it. All you need is a camera.
Yeah, but
and then a microphone.
Well, the problem is these guys, the viewers, the people that are gonna, hopefully making an income one of these days.
Dude, I do nothing but listen to podcasts in my van all day.
Smart.
I've listened to every one of Ward's and they stopped producing them, so I had to go back to Joe Rogan. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Until next time.
This was sponsored by...